What's up, YouTube? I'm Z, and this channel shows you the world through my lens. So, just so you guys know, I have been going pretty consistent with dropping YoungBoy album reactions, like full album reactions. I thought I deserved maybe a little bit of a break from that this week, but still getting some YoungBoy content out. I saw a couple people commenting this, one person commenting it like fairly regularly on multiple videos. So I appreciate you guys continuing to keep this on my mind, because I do so many videos. I lose track sometimes of what I've started, what I haven't. So that's this documentary, YoungBoy, Real Killer or Fake Gangster. Now, as you guys know, I've released a part 1 where I went through almost the first 2 hours of this documentary. This is by Trap Lord Ross, and it's really well done so far. So I'm excited to get to the next part. We're going to try to do about 2 hours again this time, which should make this a 3-part video, because then the third part can also be about 2 hours. So that's what we're going to try to do. I may not be able to record this all in one sitting because it's so long. So my plan is that today I'm going to record an hour and a bit. Tomorrow I'll record an hour and a bit. Then I'll edit those videos together and put it out hopefully for Wednesday. So it might be Wednesday when you're watching this. But yeah, long intro just to let you guys know that we have done the first part. It's on the channel. Check it out. We're going to check out part 2 right now.
YoungBoy's run from 2015 to the end of 2017 was one of a kind. He dropped 8 solo mixtapes and 1 joint one with Moneybagg Yo, giving fans more music in his formative years than some artists deliver in their entire careers. And this generosity with his art was rewarded by a cult following of loyal fans who fell in love with the music and would always show up for him from here on out. 3 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 and 3 projects on Billboard's 200 albums charts. YoungBoy was flourishing in the music industry since signing his monster 5-album $2 million deal with Atlantic. But
so I actually hadn't checked out any of those albums that were listed right there. A lot of you are mentioning AI YoungBoy Part 1 because I loved AI YoungBoy 2 so much. So I should probably check out AI YoungBoy 1. That might be the album I do next week.
YoungBoy was making murder music all about violence and killing. And before we go any further, I just want to address something. In YoungBoy's songs from 2017 and in numerous tracks that came later in his career, he seemingly claims to have 7 bodies. And despite being considered a mainstream artist making music for respected record labels, the content of his music and his own statements in these songs has led to intense speculation over whether or not YoungBoy has in fact personally killed anyone, or more specifically, more than 7 people, as he claims in many of his songs, with many wondering exactly who these people he claimed to have killed might have been. This is not dissimilar to all of the speculation that has surrounded Chicago drill rapper King Von, who was rumored to have killed at least 7 people, with his...
We'll be actually reacting to that this week as well. Hopefully you guys have seen my post where I uploaded a list of the long reactions that I'm going to be doing this week. But we're going to check out King Von, Rap's first serial killer. We haven't checked that out yet.
Name being connected to as many as 11 murders, with an endless collection of tweets and lyrics which saw King Von himself seemingly confessing to playing a role in these specific murders. I personally believe that King Von did indeed kill at least 7 people, and I covered this extensively in my recent video, King Von, Rap's first serial killer. But when it comes to YoungBoy, it's much harder to say. After the alleged killer of G Money was revealed to have been an affiliate of the NBA crew, many people thought YoungBoy had directly paid for this hit. YoungBoy has released lyrics before and after G Money's death, suggesting that he was willing to engage in murder for hire, like the track Ride On 'Em, and years later, on his Richest Op album, rapping on the song Dirty Thug, that he just has to pay the fee for his shooters to leave people dead in the street. Also on the track Bitch Let's Do It, where YoungBoy claimed that his gang would creep up and put his ops' heads on pillows. He would also rap that he used his dollars to send hits through the city, and that when this worked, he went on to go crazy with bodies. Also on the track Slimes Go Where I Go, YoungBoy opens his verse confessing that he believes he could get 100 years in jail for the murders he's been involved in. As his career has gone on, more and more fans have theorized as to whether or not YoungBoy has killed, or whether he has at least had people killed. There's even a fan theory that YoungBoy has a child for every person he kills, a theory partly supported by lyrics on a leaked song that didn't end up on the album top, but was circulating in the days leading up to its release, a song apparently titled Soul Stealer, where YoungBoy raps that he has guns with bodies on them and that he's part of a group that he had to kill to join, even ending the song saying that he's 7 up, but he needs 3 more, and saying that he needs 10 bodies, 10 hats, and 10 mama baby souls. Which, if you consider the fact...
We reacted to that song. I remember that particular line. I was like, holy crap.
That he apparently has 10 or 11 kids at this point could very well hold water. However, some of the conspiracy theories on exactly who YoungBoy may be referring to when he says he has over 7 bodies do seem like a bit of a stretch. The first person YoungBoy is rumored to have killed or had killed was one of the killers of YoungBoy's childhood friend Lil Dave, with this speculation being based off a single YoungBoy lyric where he appeared to suggest that he paid for vengeance for Dave after he begun making large sums of money. Years later, on the track F the Industry Part 2 on his album Richest Op, YoungBoy would drop a lyric seemingly confessing to having had to kill somebody at age 16, but it's unclear who this may have been. But on the same song, YoungBoy would also drop a menacing lyric saying that he witnessed somebody beating his mother as a child and that he killed them when he grew up. Whether or not you believe that YoungBoy would be capable of killing somebody, you can't deny the fact that after his cousin Boozilla got killed, he caught a double attempted murder charge whilst personally trying to avenge his cousin. However, as the judge acknowledged, nobody actually did die in this case. G-Money, however, was less lucky, being gunned down after trading public death threats with YoungBoy. And while the actual shooters of G-Money were never found, the conviction of a prominent NBA member on accessory charges firmly pointed the finger at the NBA camp. The next alleged killing is a rumor that's heavily debated amongst YoungBoy fans. An unreleased YoungBoy song called Money Man has been circulating on YouTube, Reddit, and SoundCloud for a number of years. The song isn't listed on lyric breakdown sites like Genius.com, but the track itself does include some outrageous lyrics that have gone viral numerous times on Reddit, particularly lyrics that seem to suggest that YoungBoy killed a rival gang member's girlfriend in retaliation for his grandmother's house being shot up. This all relates to a feud with another...
I don't think we've reacted to that song, right? You guys who've been with me for the past year or watched all my videos, even if you joined later, I appreciate if you did that, by the way. Fill me in. I don't think, like off the top of my head, that's not ringing a bell. So I don't think we've reacted to Money Man.
Set of Baton Rouge street hitters called TMH, or Too Many Hitters. The story goes that somebody from TMH shot up YoungBoy's grandmother's house. However, TMH32 would later deny this shooting in lyrics on his song FAN. But according to lyrics from YoungBoy's song Money Man, another person from TMH by the name of Hammer was actually targeted in a shooting, which unfortunately ended up claiming the life of his girlfriend. Now, while this is just a lyric and an unreleased freestyle, YoungBoy fans on Reddit have desperately tried to solve this crime, with one theory suggesting that the victim was a 19-year-old woman by the name of Ernisha Barnes. The news would go on to report on the shooting, suggesting that she was a passenger in a car hit by accident whilst the shooting targeted the driver.
We also have now learned the identity and the name of that 19-year-old woman. Police tell us that it was about 10:15 last night when an unknown suspect in a red Chevy Trailblazer fired several shots into a car with 19-year-old Ernisha Barnes sitting in the passenger seat. It happened near Gus Young and 48th Street. We're told that Barnes was actually taken to a local hospital where she later died.
Barnes died of a gunshot wound to the stomach after police say a suspect traveling in a red Chevy Trailblazer fired into the car she was a passenger in. Several sources said 2 other people were in the car at the time. It is believed that one of them, Ernisha's best friend, was the intended target.
No one would ever think suspect or imagine something like that happening to them, they child,
However, despite fan theories that YoungBoy was in fact responsible for this tragic murder, later on, 2 completely unrelated people would be taken into custody for this shooting, with it being claimed that the shootout stemmed from an argument and that the shooter was targeting the driver of the vehicle Barnes was in. Donnie Spencer was charged with first-degree murder for the shooting, despite publicly claiming to be innocent, and Ashley Taylor was charged with attempted second-degree murder and illegal use of a weapon, for apparently shooting at a woman in the same spot just minutes before this fatal drive-by, with cops claiming that the 2 shootings were connected and that both shootings stemmed from an ongoing argument.
Scotty Hunter tonight with the key thing that helped police make a very quick arrest.
The man accused of carrying out this year's record-breaking murder in Baton Rouge, 27-year-old Donnie Spencer, is behind bars tonight. As he was loaded off to prison, he had nothing to say except one thing.
Innocent.
Spencer is charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder after allegedly gunning down 19-year-old mother Ernisha Barnes last Thursday in a drive-by shooting on Gus Young at 48th. His information put out on Friday. Roughly 72 hours later, he was picked up today by the U.S. Marshals Task Force.
Now, the rumor that YoungBoy was involved in this murder has been widely considered to have been debunked, as Donnie Spencer would eventually be sentenced to 22 years for this murder. However, that hasn't stopped rabid YoungBoy fans from continuing to spread the rumor that the person who took the charge was actually just doing it on behalf of YoungBoy to take the fall, since
See, so I don't know about this. Listen, conspiracy theories can get super, super wild, so I try not to get sucked into them. I will say this though: the U.S. justice system has a long history of, incarcerating the wrong person. So just the fact that he was indicted and actually, sentenced doesn't really mean like what I think a lot of people hope it means. If that makes sense. I think there's always going to be questions. So I will say that.
He'd maintained his innocence during proceedings. And this rumor's been kept alive by yet more ambiguous YoungBoy lyrics that seem to mention a woman being killed in the crossfire. YoungBoy seemed to mention a similar situation in an unreleased song called Stay in Your Lane, rapping about how she got killed outside a corner store, seemingly a reference to the location of the killing of Barnes. And later, YoungBoy rapped in the song Murder Man, thought it was him, it was his bitch. Let me tell you how that go, I'm the murder man. And even more recently on his 2023 album Richest Op, where he rapped on the song I Heard that someone got swerved on with his girl, she got hit, and all he heard was her last breath. Now, despite the fact that this particular murder has been solved with a suspect who was sentenced for the murder, fans would continue to be desperate to try and link YoungBoy to specific murders going forward, and YoungBoy himself would appear to be happy to contribute to these conspiracies. Throughout his career, he's continued to make supposed murder anthems. Murder songs are essentially a subgenre of YoungBoy songs, primarily where he raps all about these supposed murders and assassinations that he may or may not be responsible for, and repeatedly referring to himself in these songs as a gravedigger or the murder man, and claiming to be doing his Murder Man dance to these songs, with YoungBoy fans even rabidly creating playlists of what they feel are his best murder songs, and ranking which murder anthem is the best for spinning on ops, with it generally being considered that YoungBoy's top murder anthem is Dead Trolls, the track which appeared to foreshadow King Von's death, a song where YoungBoy actually raps 7 murders in my hometown, tell them I did that.
Listen, that not only is that song crazy, like aggressive, crazy, that video is crazy as well.
Naturally, with all of this violent content in the music, and even more real-life violence playing out on the streets of Baton Rouge, it's perhaps not surprising that big corporate entities would be scared to be associated with YoungBoy, the self-proclaimed murder man. But despite Atlantic Records being willing to put their public support behind YoungBoy in the form of a multi-million-dollar record deal, others would be desperate to distance themselves from the violent content of his music. And it's worth noting that a little while after signing his record deal in 2017, YoungBoy quietly changed his official name from NBA YoungBoy to YoungBoy Never Broke Again. Apparently this was a tactical maneuver carried out to avoid a potentially costly and damaging copyright dispute with the real NBA, the National Basketball Association. The initials NBA are trademarked and intellectual property of the National Basketball Association. And ironically, had YoungBoy kept using NBA in his name, he very well could have ended up getting sued and ended up very much broke again. With the National Basketball Association generally being a bit more of a family-friendly business that likely don't want to be associated with the sort of street activity that YoungBoy's NBA are into. Unless your name's Ja Morant, of course, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, after resolving his name change and avoiding a potentially costly legal dispute with the other NBA, and after the murder of his biggest rival in the Baton Rouge rap scene,
Listen, basketball is my favorite sport, but listen, all of these pro leagues, they're just a more civilized way of cheating and stealing and doing terrible things that affect people's lives negatively. Doesn't mean that's all they do. Like, again, I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that are worse off because of those organizations. So, yeah, family friendly, clean, all that stuff. Cool.
Money, YoungBoy, with the support of his label, would launch into a huge promotional campaign for his next project, setting the stage for YoungBoy to have a meteoric 2018, which saw him break into the mainstream music conversation. In January 2018, he released his big commercial single, Outside Today.
Yo, that song is so good. When that song came on, as I was listening to Until Death Called My Name, oh, bro, like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. So good.
The song itself was interesting thematically, and perhaps foreshadows YoungBoy's constant subjugation to house arrest. Only in this song, he says that he's staying inside to avoid the paparazzi and all the attention that has come from his newfound fame. The song wasn't short of gangster content either. Elsewhere in the hook, he rapped that he would still do a drive-by in his Rolls-Royce Wraith. YoungBoy goes on to make a pretty bold and shocking claim, stating that if you want to join NBA, you need to have caught a body, along with other lyrics where he claims to jump out and shoot at people's houses, describing the exact scenario where he caught 2 attempted murder charges after the murder of Bouzilla. He follows that up with a lyric claiming to always be telling the truth and never capping in his lyrics, a bold claim which is followed up by another ominous lyric where he claims to shoot his ops and their women. Another lyric which is eerily similar to the rumoured shooting of an innocent woman that we discussed earlier on. Now, the music video for the song makes a big statement about where YoungBoy's life was at this point in his career. In the music video, YoungBoy's girlfriend at the time, Jania, can be seen trying to avoid a group of paparazzi asking questions as she enters his home. YoungBoy would rap his verses for this song in an opulent mansion, along with a cameo from Louisiana's #1 stunner himself, Birdman, the legendary New Orleans record exec and rapper of Cash Money fame. The red-themed video, along with the presence of Birdman, one of hip-hop's most famous Blood Gang members, appeared to be a subtle hint at YoungBoy's ongoing connections to the Blood Gang, as can also be heard in their 2018 collaboration, We Poppin'. And YoungBoy and Birdman would maintain a close relationship going forward, and they would even eventually create a joint mixtape together with a strong Louisiana theme titled From the Bayou. Birdman would also be one of the very first people in the industry to see YoungBoy's full potential, predicting in a 2018 interview just days before Outside Today released that YoungBoy would be the biggest young superstar that the rap game had ever heard of.
I'm going to listen to what he says here, but listen, you guys know I have mixed feelings about Birdman just because of the way the Lil Wayne situation went down, but thinking about it that way, like Lil Wayne, one of the biggest things that came out of Louisiana, and then YoungBoy, the next biggest thing that came out of Louisiana. I mean, the man's onto something. He can definitely tell talent, right?
I think he the next biggest young superstar the game they never had. Talent-wise, he's an animal. He's a monster. I had the pleasure of being around him and see how he work, watch how he work. I think he's gonna be the next biggest superstar in the world as the youngsters.
Birdman was spot on, and that single Outside Today ended up becoming YoungBoy's breakout hit, landing on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart at number 31. The song Outside Today would actually be the lead single for YoungBoy's debut studio album, titled Until Death Call My Name, which was released on April the 27th, 2018.
Guys, still my favorite album that I've reacted to from him.
This project was a resounding success for YoungBoy, peaking at number 7 on the Billboard 200 albums charts, his highest performing project at the time, and his first top 10 Billboard hit. And the project also included the song Genie, his most viewed solo hit, which today sits at over 380 million views on YouTube. The project itself was laced with interesting and introspective lyrics where YoungBoy painted a picture of the dark life he was living. The song Preach has lyrics where YoungBoy talks about how he often thinks about his dead homies, and we hear YoungBoy reflecting on the state of his mental health, as he speaks on how he masks his pain every morning with a smile. The album also references members of his NBA team as shooters, like Baby Joe in the first song Solar Eclipse. Secondly, in the song Right or Wrong, where he says Baby Joe will put that Draco to people's back or heads. And in the song Solar Eclipse, YoungBoy also reveals that he keeps a firearm even when performing on stage. Elsewhere in the song, he pays homage to legend of Chicago drill music Chief Keef, saying that he's killing like the Grim Reaper and drilling like Chief Keef. An ironic line, given the eventual beef between NBA and Chicago rappers a few years down the line. But at this point, YoungBoy had truly arrived in the rap game, a top 10 charting artist with the whole power of the music industry behind him, despite the violent content behind his lyrics. But unfortunately for YoungBoy, despite his success as a rapper, his past in the streets would indeed catch up with him and his team, and soon he would end up losing one of the people closest to him, his close friend and manager, Big Dump.
Wow.
YoungBoy had a wild...
So right before we go into this next chapter, I mean, this was an important moment in my journey of discovering YoungBoy as well, and I believe the track was called Letter to Big Dump. That was a really critical moment where I felt an interesting connection to someone who seemingly, who otherwise in all other aspects would seem to be nothing like me. But I listened to that track and I felt this connection because, you know, I've had one of my best friends was stabbed and killed when I was growing up. I was only 17. I had no coping mechanisms, no tools to deal with it. And when I listened to that track, it was just something that I could immediately connect to. So before we get into this chapter, I just thought I'd share that real quick. That was a cool moment for me in my discovery of YoungBoy. Yeah.
Oddly successful start to 2018 after releasing his debut album Until Death Call My Name. And one man who no doubt played a major role in securing these major career wins was his close friend and manager, Desmond "Dump" Hardnett. Nicknamed Dump because he apparently loved to play with dump trucks as a child. He grew up and became a key man in YoungBoy's operation, and they would foster a close personal friendship during YoungBoy's come-up, with that close friendship ultimately making the loss of Dump a devastating tragedy for YoungBoy. On May the 4th, 2018, just before 6 p.m, Big Dump was apparently standing on Nairn Street outside his uncle's house next to his childhood home when a car pulled up and somebody opened fire on Dump and a woman he was standing with. Baton Rouge police officers responded to a report of a drive-by shooting. When they arrived, they found Dump and a woman suffering from gunshot wounds. They would both be taken to the hospital, but sadly Dump would pass away.
Baton Rouge police say 29-year-old Desmond Hardnett died last night from his injuries. Police say Hardnett and a 32-year-old woman were both shot during a drive-by shooting yesterday afternoon. That happened near the corner of Nairn and Baywell. We're told the woman's injuries are not expected to be life-threatening.
Within a few days of Dump's murder, local news outlets would begin reporting on his connection to YoungBoy and the NBA crew. Many years later, Lil Dump, Big Dump's nephew, would even return to the location of the murder, explaining in a vlog exactly how that day went down.
What the business is, Lil Dump. I'm running it about my life and how I grew up. Let's get it. My uncle Dump died on this street I grew up on. My uncle died by himself with nobody around. You feel what I'm saying? Like, no homeboys, no none of that shit. My uncle died at this house. Basically, he ran from here to there under my uncle's driveway. That's how it happened.
Naturally, YoungBoy would be heartbroken after the loss of Dump, and in the years following Dump's death, YoungBoy memorialized his fallen brother in numerous songs, like in his September 2018 track, R.I.P. Dump, a heartfelt tribute to his fallen manager, a song that was part of YoungBoy's 4-track EP, For Loyalty.
I know a lot of people were saying check that out. Have I done other tracks from that? It says 4 tracks, so it's very short, right?
On the song R.I.P. Dump, YoungBoy expresses his sorrow.
Or no, maybe he said something else, but because I see track 12. So yeah, let me know if I've reacted to other songs from that. I'm curious.
And sadness at losing his right-hand man, and seemingly vowing revenge, saying that he has killers backing him up, as well as hinting towards a certain deceased op, rapping that somebody else can't diss because they're dead now. YoungBoy would continue to pay homage to Dump in his music for years to come. He would also drop the 2022 track Letter to Big Dump, a track that was written in the perspective of YoungBoy writing a letter to Dump in the afterlife, updating him on all the progress that he had made since Dump passed away. It would also include a lyric where YoungBoy claimed to have had a conversation with the person who put a hit on Dump, with Fredo Bang confirming in a Vlad TV interview in 2023 that he did indeed have a phone call with YoungBoy.
Did the two of you get on the phone together?
We talked.
Clearly, YoungBoy knew who was responsible, and it didn't take long for people to begin making theories of their own. Following this tragic incident, many people began to point the finger at TBG, with the main names involved in TBG at this point being Fredo Bang, Lit Yoshi, and Boulevard Quick. And as time went on, there would be numerous lyrics coming out of the TBG Records camp that hinted towards the group having had some.
Anytime I see Boulevard Quick, I think about that clip where he calls him like Boulevard Slow or something, like basically trying to say he's fat. I don't know if it was him or if it was his mom. I can't remember.
Something to do with the murder of Dump. Fredo Bang was particularly hurt by the loss of his friend G Money, explaining to DJ Small's Eyes in an interview that he broke down in tears in jail when he heard the news of G's death. Fredo Bang was incarcerated on a 2016 attempted murder charge at the time of G Money's death.
They had a shooting by the studio, man. G got killed. So I'm like, man, I ain't trying to hear out. You know what I'm saying? Hang up in his face. I dropped the phone. I just broke down in tears. Like, you know how a baby crying in front of 120 grown men, you know what I'm saying, in a real war zone.
And he would go on to publicly blame himself for G Money's murder, suggesting that had he been free, G might still be alive today, as well as saying in an interview that G Money was supposed to leave Baton Rouge, but he had waited around because he knew Fredo Bang was due to get out of jail soon.
The only reason G was in Baton Rouge was because he was waiting on me. I was supposed to get released that week.
Ironically, Fredo Bang caught his charges back in 2016 before the beef between YoungBoy and G Money had escalated, and Fredo would even later claim in interviews that he was cool with NBA when he went to jail, and that he didn't even realize that they were in a serious beef until G Money had died. A month after Dump's death, Fredo Bang would be a free man, and he would release a tribute song to his fallen friend G Money titled Father, where Fredo would be seen in the video visiting G Money's grave. As well as being a tribute to mourn the loss of G Money, Fredo Bang would also drop hints in the song alluding to revenge, at one point hinting towards having placed a hit on someone from jail, and ending his second verse saying that now G-Money is dead, he will have to sin again. But Fredo's lyrics merely hinted at revenge for what had happened to G. However, other, more disrespectful songs would be released not long after, sending suspicions through the roof. Fredo Bang and Boulevard Quick had a song called Body Bag, which released just 2 months after Dump's death. And in the music video, Fredo Bang was seen swinging around another Chucky doll. This is a reference to G-Money's music video industry, which itself was a reference to YoungBoy's video What I Was Taught. Something that signals to me a very personal message from Fredo Bang that all of these videos are connected. But beyond the visuals, the lyrics to Body Bag painted a shocking picture. Fredo would rap that they'd pull up on ops and dump the whole clip, and that TBG stretch people. The track had lyrics that said they put someone's homie in a box for dropping knots, i.e. spending money to place hits, and saying that they caught him outside the house, which describes the circumstances of Dump's murder. Boulevard Quick would again reference Dump apparently running from the shooters, saying, "I heard he tripped over his shoelaces," and Fredo would seemingly call out Yoshi and Quick as shooters. Boulevard Quick even claimed to be shooting people from the window of cars, and that would be followed by Boulevard Quick's song And One, which also prominently featured a Chucky doll again. And in that song, Quick would rap that he would have died for G-Money and telling YoungBoy to go dig his friend up, as well as dissing YoungBoy, saying that he went to jail for attempted murder without even shooting anyone. After that, another Fredo Bang song called Lot of Smoke dropped, and in this song, he would rap that he put someone on their back and that he's smoking on a fat man and that he's not dumping the ashes, as well as going on to rap, "I killed your partner, I ain't sorry." In January 2019, Fredo Bang would release a tribute song to his friend Y&W Melly called Free Melvin, and in this song, he would seemingly name Boulevard Quick as his shooter and saying that he committed murder after murder, as well as lyrics where he claims that his friend caught a body and Fredo thanked him, going on to say that they were dumping clips and Free Boulevard, seemingly painting a picture of Boulevard Quick as indeed being Dump's killer. In September 2019, TBG rapper Lee.
You know what's interesting? I've said this before on the channel in regards to this, but it's interesting that like a lot of the new generation of, you know, gangster music, I think they say too much. I think once upon a time you alluded to doing things, you kind of left the mystery there. People would have to connect the dots. I think now it's just like it's too blatant. And you know, especially you think about the Young Thug trial and like people talking about like musical lyrics being used. It's I mean, you don't want art to kind of cross that barrier. However, when the lyrics are this damning and this specific, it's hard to not see why prosecution wouldn't want to use them in that manner. So I do think that the new generation of gangster rap needs to be a little bit less vocal about some of these things and maybe try to be a little bit more clever about how you say stuff, because you're basically just making songs that are confessions, right?
Yoshi would also release a track called Blasting, which came with lyrics about walking people down in their own hood and making ops run, but still leaving them slumped and shooting them with 7.62 bullets. Yoshi would also later release and delete a track called Chase Down, where he appeared to describe the circumstances of Dump being shot whilst with a woman who was screaming as he ran, and continuing to describe the scene where he claims to have personally chased someone down and left him face down, as well as claiming the whole city are against him and that he's always going to dump or shoot, and claiming to even have a $150,000 bounty on his head, but he's not scared and he's still making his ops run. One particular standout lyric was from his song Drake's, where he says he put it on that truck, an obvious reference to Dump. Lit Yoshi would also release his new song Runts, named after the popular brand of Mary Jane, on 4/20/2020, and in that song he would rap that he's smoking on that truck while standing on what looked like a large dump truck, as well as dropping lyrics where he claimed that he'd catch ops in their own hood and shoot them, and repeating the ad-lib dump dump dump, which he censored on the music video version of the song. However, uncensored versions of this track do still circulate on YouTube. And in the verses, seemingly addressing YoungBoy directly, he would rap that he hit someone's partner up, and claiming that when bullets get to flying, people start running while he's coming, gunning, and dumping. Even in a 2021 interview with DJ Vlad, when asked about Dump, Fredo Bang seems to beam an enormous smile across his face before catching himself and then pretending to not know who Dump is at all.
This guy named Dump ended up getting killed in May 2018?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
I ain't never heard of him.
Okay.
That's not obvious at all. Yo, why do people still do interviews with Vlad? This is my question.
Dump's murder was never officially solved, but the music painted a clear picture of who had the most to gain from Dump's death. And as time went on, more of those people would continue to make songs and social media posts mocking Dump's death and antagonizing the NBA crew. And so, perhaps unsurprisingly, it was only a matter of months before a deadly retaliation would take place, leaving one of those individuals who had mocked Dump's untimely demise facing the exact same fate. By summer 2018, the Baton Rouge rap scene was in the grips of a violent gang war between numerous factions. The 2016 murder of NBA YoungBoy's cousin Bouzilla was just the first in a chain of deadly shootings that would claim the lives of members on both sides. After narrowly beating 2 attempted murder charges trying to avenge his cousin, YoungBoy would ultimately remain free to pursue his music career, but the NBA members backing him would seemingly continue to wage war against his rivals in the streets. The September 2017 murder of former friend turned rap rival G Money would see his friends from his crew TBG looking to avenge him, and ultimately that revenge would come in the form of the murder of YoungBoy's close friend and manager Big Dump in May 2018. But the violence would be far from over. Before Bouzilla was killed, he had released a song called Forgive Me where he dissed another local rapper by the name of FL Deucer. Bouzilla would be killed soon after, and that music video would be flooded with comments suggesting that Deucer had something to do with his death. On June 3rd, 2018, violence would reignite once again on Kentucky Street, which is interestingly the very street that YoungBoy and his NBA affiliates shot up in retaliation for Bouzilla's murder. And it would be here that FL Deucer, along with 2 other gunmen, would be involved in a shootout on 2000 Kentucky Street. According to the police, one person was shot 3 times in the back, and another was hit in the arm and leg, with cops finding 27 shell casings in the street. Reportedly, one of the victims was BBGD, who was shot in the back. And according to a news article, one of the victims even identified the shooter as FL Deucer, as well as another person who was not initially named, but later confirmed to have been taken into custody. Rumours would later circulate that BBGD had cooperated with authorities to identify Deucer as the shooter, partly due to TBG rapper Yoshi seemingly telling fans that Deucer was doing 5 years due to NBA members ratting on him. And he denied wanting to beef with NBA members, saying that they will rat on people, ultimately telling them to slide for Bouzilla.
I don't want to go to jail. Them boys free Deucer. Deucer already doing 5 years. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want no smoke with no BBG. All of my boys. So y'all stop saying that like I'm beefing with them boys. I'm not. I don't want no smoke with none of them. I'm scared of them. They'll end your life. They'll have you face the time. I'm scared of them boys. They're my boys. I love them. I don't want no beef with them. Better start sliding for their own people that's dead. R.P. Bouzilla.
Yoshi would go on to insult YoungBoy and the NBA crew, suggesting that when someone dies, the whole NBA gang claim responsibility for that one body, likely a reference to G Money.
Somebody died, the whole city will rep on one body. That's crazy. When somebody died, the whole city will get on Instagram and rep on it, and ain't got nothing to do with it. These crazy.
But it wasn't just Lit Yoshi showing public disrespect to the NBA crew. Boulevard Quick also called out NBA members for allegedly snitching on Deucer and claimed that YoungBoy was too scared to live in Baton Rouge.
You know the real. You told on Deucer, got the man in penitentiary, and you told the people you couldn't live down here, so y'all relocated to California.
Off social media, Boulevard Quick was continuing to diss the NBA crew in his music. He would release a remix to YoungBoy's own song War With Us in June 2018, calling it a G-Mix in tribute to G Money, and once again including a Chucky doll in the music video, as both YoungBoy, G Money, and Fredo Bang had all done in previous diss songs and their music videos. It featured an intro that showed people pulling up to YoungBoy Street on 38th and Chippewa and shooting someone, as well as numerous lyrics providing an insight into the ongoing tension between these two groups, rapping that word around town is that he's going to get killed, but he's not hiding, and that he's still sliding trying to kill ops. A couple of months later, on the 2nd of August 2018, Boulevard Quick released a bold music video for his new song Never Lacking. The track was a boastful diss to his ops, where he invited them to pull up on him, and he claimed that they will never catch him lacking because he's always armed. He would also rap that people are claiming to be putting money on his head, but he's not scared. And the song would end with a rant where Quick would taunt his ops, claiming that despite them putting up money to have him killed, he's still alive and breathing.
You dropped the bag while I'm still breathing. I got breath in my body, fake ass boy.
A little while after this, a preview of a YoungBoy song would circulate where YoungBoy dissed G Money and threatened to shoot someone like the last gorilla, a reference to their crew, Top Boy Gorillas, TBG, with Quick reacting to this snippet after a wave of people tagged him, saying everybody YoungBoy knows, including his mother and father, are hoes.
I tagged me and all. You see this here? I caught that up. Your mama's, your dad is, everybody you roll with.
But Quick wasn't done there. He would also be seen on social media telling a story about OG33, saying that he beat him up in jail and that 3 requested protection from him and Fredo Bang.
3 in the dorm with me. He had just came to the dorm that night. That morning, I walked up to his bed, woke him up, punched him in his shit, stomped him out. He on himself and told her and checked out. Told the people he cannot be around me or Fredo Bang. Yeah, that was 3-3 said. He cannot live around me or Fredo Bang.
Clearly, YoungBoy wasn't discouraged.
I mean, strong accusations, especially like one thing to note is that in this environment, your reputation is extremely important. So saying some damning stuff like this, you know, whether there's proof or not, I know at this point it's like a he say, she say thing, can be very damaging to someone's reputation.
By the beef or the threats. And in September 2018, he would have the successful release of his latest project, Decided, landing at 41 on the Billboard 200. However, the tension really escalated when YoungBoy's mother Sharonda came into the picture. She would appear on IG Live in October 2018 and begun responding to death threats in the comments, telling viewers that she keeps a big gun under her bed. As the live went on, somebody would comment that Fredo Bang and Boulevard Quick want to get YoungBoy, prompting Sharonda to say F both of them.
Let me see. Fredo Bang and Quick wants to get YoungBoy. Fredo Bang and Boulevard slow.
To which Boulevard Quick responded with a vulgar and unfiltered rant on his Instagram, saying F YoungBoy's mum and saying she looks like a man.
Boy, mom, tell me about that. That eat a big long. I'm talking about so long that ain't a daughter she dream about making. Yeah, man. That bitch can get out my bitch can say what she wants to say about me. She hollering, me, bitch, you look like a man though. Bitch, you look like a punk. Talking about me, bitch, I ain't Fredo, bitch, I speaks on everything. That nigga mama. Bitch, play with me first. That hoe.
Sharonda then jumped on live once more to respond, mocking Boulevard Quick, joking that she was sorry that she'd made him cry, and saying that he's fat.
I had woke up this morning, everybody in my earbuds talk about the little boy Boulevard Quick was talking about me. But I really got on him to tell him that I'm sorry. I came to tell little Boulevard Quick that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made you cry, boo. I'm for real. Cause I wasn't being mean. Like somebody was on my thing, like I'm reading out, and somebody said, somebody hit me, he's their friend. So I said, his friend. Cause I'm like, I feel like anybody that don't like my children, and that's how I am. If you don't like my children, you know, y'all. I wasn't being mean or mess or nothing. And then I saw him on fucking Instagram, YouTube, whatever, crying yesterday about, his mama put my name in her mouth, and that's up, and I swear to God, man, she better keep my name.
I saw, y'all see that comment there? It said, y'all be, hold up.
And that's,
y'all be up so early. Good morning. Hey man, you want to lead a productive life. Generally, I mean, there are lives that can be productive that aren't early, but I'm just saying generally, you know.
Up, and I swear to God, man, she better keep my name out her mouth. I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry I put your name in your mouth because I saw you crying. She looked like a man. She ugly. She got man features. I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry for talking about you because you look like a ball. You got round features, boo. I'm sorry. She want to be a comedian so bad. Bitch, you want to be a rapper so bad. I'm sorry I made you cry. For real. I don't know you, boo. I don't. I'm sorry.
She is roasting him alive. Oh my God. Look like a ball. Sorry she wants to be a comedian so bad. Sorry you want to be a rapper so bad. Yo.
I was just saying, whoever don't like my church, I wasn't just saying, you know, trying to be mean or messy. They be on my thing, talking about you, saying you said this and that. And so that's why I said, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you done said us plenty of days. I ain't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to be mean, like, for real, though. Like, and for real, I'm a mama. Anybody that don't like my churn, if anybody who don't like me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you personally, because I don't know you. I do not know you. So go ahead and, you know, I said I'm sorry on live in front of everybody. So now you can go back to a grocery store and make you some more little videos.
Boulevard Quick would respond once again, saying that it was YoungBoy's mother who started it by dissing him and his friends.
You sure got some manly features on your mother, man. Stupid. Like a whole game playing with a shit. Yeah, man, I don't know if people gotta say, yeah, I spoke on, I did that, I can't take that back. Tell my name out of mouth. And keep my partner name out of mouth. We talking about I gotta diss people for fame. I ain't dissing no fame. Mama came for me.
Listen, I don't know how I feel about this in general. Like, I mean, getting on Instagram Live and like calling each other out. I will say this, that the escalations that occur from whether it's Instagram Live or Facebook Live, especially when people's locations kind of get revealed, like it's obvious where they're at, and unfortunately has led to like some really bad outcomes. Obviously, I wish that stuff like that wouldn't happen, because that really sucks.
Talking about Fredo banging Boulevard slow.
And after this, YoungBoy himself spoke on the matter in live, warning Boulevard Quick that this internet beef will end with him having the last laugh, and saying that his ops are going to either die, go broke, or go to jail.
This internet alone. I hope y'all stupid know that. This internet alone. Bitch, y'all finna be assed out. All y'all fake ass trappers, rappers, gunslingers, strippers, Instamops. Bitch, y'all finna be assed out. Bitch, this ain't lasting for long, ho. That money gonna last for long. Bitch, we gonna see who gonna have the last laugh. It's either you gonna die, you either gonna be a bum, or you gonna be successful, or you gonna go to jail. And the reason I ain't that way is because the point, I don't know which one I'm gonna be. You hear me? But I ain't dumb though. You hear me? And them people who play that role to y'all, them bitches know I ain't dumb. The people who really know me, they know I ain't dumb. You hear me? How the I came this far? You think I came this far by being dumb, you stupid bitch? You think I came this far by being dumb? Come on, man. You think I ain't see that nigga, huh? It's a joke, huh? So, I'm a hoe. You hear me? Don't mix my rap life with my music life. I am pure.
Clearly, the beef between YoungBoy and Boulevard Quick had gotten incredibly personal, and now mothers were involved. Unfortunately for Boulevard Quick, he would soon be facing the grave consequences of dishing out such public and personal insults. In one of his last public appearances on IG Live, Boulevard Quick would ask fans why people want to kill people from TBG so bad, telling fans that it's because they're dangerous and a threat to their ops.
I really want to know the reason why I kill TBG so bad, because we are a fucking problem. That's why. We are a fucking problem. We don't see TBG with nothing because we are going to be a real fucking threat to society.
On November the 26th, 2018, around 12:30 a.m., police would respond to reports of a shooting after neighbors heard 5 shots. They would attend Lakeside Villas apartment complex in the 2400 block of Weldwood, where Boulevard Quick lived. And here, they would discover the body of Quick, real name Ashton Wells, who had been shot dead and left at the scene, murdered in cold blood just outside of his home, circumstances chillingly similar to the fate of Big Dump. It would seem obvious that these two tragic slayings may have some connection. TBG rapper Fredo Bang would post a tribute to Boulevard Quick, saying they accept everything that comes with the street life and calling Quick's death part of God's plan. And he would go on to continue to show love to Quick on Instagram in the years that followed. Meanwhile, NBA members would mock the murdered TBG rival, particularly YoungBoy, who would appear to gloat on social media and in songs following Quick's death. The day after Quick died, YoungBoy would appear on an IG Live with an enormous smile, reciting lyrics to his upcoming song, My Mama Say, where he said that people keep saying they're going to touch him, but they keep dying. The full song would drop on YoungBoy's latest mixtape, Reeler, the following month, and that song would be walled.
My second favorite, tied for second, my second favorite YoungBoy album.
To war with lyrics about how YoungBoy uses money to leave his rivals dead, and claiming to catch the boy who's been dissing and shoot them in the face, and ending the track with an outro saying they leave stains in front of people's homes. Elsewhere on that mixtape, YoungBoy would continue to perpetuate his image as a shot caller, dropping bags on his enemies' heads. On the track Play With Us, YoungBoy claims to be plotting the next murder with his hitters, explaining his expectation for somebody to be killed in exchange for a
Fire
check.
track.
That was followed by
Fire
more
track.
lyrics claiming to be giving direct instructions to his shooters to deliver a body before claiming to deny any knowledge if the authorities try and link him to the hit. Then there's the song Valuable Pain, where YoungBoy admits his killers look up to him and that he hopes all of the bodies he's responsible for don't catch up to him. But YoungBoy would go on to drop much more pointed hints about his connection to Boulevard Quick's death later in his career. A leaked YoungBoy track called Impact surfaced in the summer of 2020, and had lyrics where YoungBoy seemed to suggest that he had had Boulevard Quick killed in direct retaliation for disrespecting his mother. He would also flip lyrics from Quick's War With Us G-Mix. In that song, Boulevard Quick rapped, "All I say is watch the news because them bodies layin'." Well, 2 years after his death, YoungBoy would refer to those lyrics on his murder anthem Dead Trolls, rapping, "That dude dead, tell me did he move, all he said was watch the news. Talking Channel 9, I need to turn it to 2. It was 2 victims, ain't make it through." Now this is a deep lyric, as it was local news network Channel 9 WAFB that would report on Quick's death, both on their website and TV broadcast. And the
very
death of
specific.
G-Money in 2017 was announced on WBRZ News 2, another Louisiana
Okay.
news program shown on Channel 2. YoungBoy would also reference putting his ops on Channel 9 again years later in the song Channel 9 on his 2023 mixtape Richest Op, where he claimed, once again, to be the murder man, and sneak dissing Boulevard Quick, saying his ops weren't quick on their feet. And in one more
Damn,
crazy
didn't
lyric
catch
that
that.
seems to connect to this situation was on the track 1.5 from his album Don't Try This at Home, where YoungBoy seems to refer to the situation where Boulevard Quick dissed his mother, rapping that his mother heard what he said about her and told YoungBoy to leave him dead, with him rapping that he caught him and a few weeks later busted his head. But it wasn't just YoungBoy disrespecting Quick. As time went on, his whole crew would continue to diss their fallen rival. NBA KD would mock both G-Money and Boulevard Quick in an IG Live.
G wasn't quick enough. That was a cold.
Some people believe NBA Big B to have had something to do with this due to numerous lyrics where he claimed to have rolled up a fat op. On the track Smoke, he rapped, "Smoke in the air, there's a fat dude there. I done messed around and rolled him up, put him in my bag, and drop a bag on his head, I promise I'ma do it." And on the song Op Season, he raps, "He was talking, he got ran down by his front door," and even being seen in an unreleased song snippet saying, "The fat man didn't make it to December." NBA Herm would also tease snippets on Instagram where he appeared to rap that he got the drop on an op's apartment and a fat op dead. And NBA Ben 10 would respond to friends of Quick posting his music, laughing and saying he finds it funny when he sees dead people dissing him on the timeline.
So tell me, don't be funny. When you going down your timeline and you see a dead like Polar Boy, you dead.
Clearly Boulevard Quick was
Damn,
deeply invested
that's
in the gang war,
ruthless.
and he wasn't going to stop until he killed someone or got killed himself. And in the end, he would wind up being the latest victim of another senseless murder. Another young man whose life would be cut short before he could see any true success in his music. And while YoungBoy would be happily moving on with his life after losing his close friend and manager dumped to the streets, with one of his biggest enemies and the person rumoured to have had something to do with Dump's murder now out of the way too, it wouldn't be as easy as simply walking away from the violence back to his rap career. YoungBoy too would ultimately be too deep in this beef to simply move on and focus on music, because now friends of Boulevard Quick were grieving and looking for their revenge. And even while seeking refuge in other states, far away from the violence of Baton Rouge, that danger would seem to follow YoungBoy everywhere he went, raining death and destruction all around him.
Damn. Okay, so we got another shootout coming up here. I think we have time to do this next chapter. Let's go through this next chapter, and then I'll see. Maybe that'll be a good place for me to stop. Look, okay, you guys know I do this from time to time on my channel. It's tough. Look, I'm 32 years old. I did not have to live any version of this life. It's just the truth, right? I am a third party observer to people who have to live this life and share it through their art form, and I'm appreciative of it because I think they make incredible art. However, I do have to say that Boulevard, quick, 25 years old, Dump, I can't remember what the age was, but young, 19-year-old mother who was killed. I just have to say that if you do find yourself growing up in areas where this is the lifestyle, this is seemingly the way out to do things like this, to make some money because you may not have it, I can't even begin to sympathize or empathize because I've never had that situation. But the world is a huge place. And Baton Rouge, just we're using this as the example, is a small place. And for those people, the problems they had, the fights that they had probably seemed like the biggest thing in the world. Let me tell you, there's billions of people on this planet who don't know who YoungBoy is or who any of these people are. And when you start thinking about life on that scale, I think you can truly start to understand that these squabbles are not that important. I mean, for goodness sake, like in the last 100 days, over 25,000 people have been killed in Palestine, in Gaza, for example. That's it. This is the insanity that happens on a global scale. So all of this to say that anybody dying is senseless, shouldn't happen. And if it's over these, ridiculous, like disrespected me, my reputation, this, I know at times it feels like that's the only thing that you have, but when you die, you have nothing. So even if that only thing that you have gets damaged a little bit, you got to find a way to, do something else. Like this is not the answer. Again, this could be coming from a naive place as somebody who doesn't have to live that life. I fully understand that. And if you comment that down below, I respect your opinion 100%, but I just felt like I had to say that at this part. So let's keep going. We got the Trump hotel shootout. Switch the scene back here. Slide back over to this part. Let's go.
By 2019, YoungBoy was a long way from the dangerous streets of Baton Rouge. He was now a Billboard charting recording artist with a multi-million-dollar record deal and a whole lot of people depending on him. He was also on probation, getting a 10-year suspended sentence for his role in a double attempted murder the day after his cousin was killed. So, he would have to move smart if he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity being offered to him. After accepting his plea deal and narrowly avoiding 10 years in prison, YoungBoy vowed to leave the dangers of Baton Rouge for Los Angeles, rapping on his comeback single, Untouchable, that he needed to move to a city where he didn't need to stay armed to be safe, with YoungBoy even explaining in a Genius interview about that lyric that
Oh, hang on guys, give me 1 second. I will be right back. Hey guys, sorry about that. Just had an interruption that actually caused me to end my recording day early. But it's all good. I'm back today. I'm picking up where we left off, and I'm going to see if I can drag it out longer, and see if we can actually get some like decent progress here, because obviously this is a 6-hour video. So I don't want this to be like a 50-part reaction. We got to try to get a good chunk in. So we're just going to pick up exactly where we left off. I did do something which I think is cool. Somebody had commented that if I am going to be switching scenes like this, then might be a good idea to do this circle thing. So I went online and learned how to do that. So that way it takes up less space and you can see more of the video. Cool. Let's get into this, guys. Pick it up where we left off.
he simply didn't need to worry about people smart if he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity being offered to him. After accepting his plea deal, move smart for his role in a double attempted murder the day after his cousin was killed. After he didn't need to worry about people shooting at him in Los Angeles. YoungBoy would be seen mobbing in LA surrounded by his NBA brothers in the music video for his 2017 song 41, where he was clearly living the high life pulling up to the cookout in a fresh Lamborghini drop top. A Lamborghini which he would duly total within a month, leading to him and his manager Big Dump being sued in LA. YoungBoy's life was truly chaotic wherever he went, but he'd be better off crashing a Lambo in Beverly Hills than he would be crashing out and gangbanging in Baton Rouge. So his team kept him out of the streets.
Yo, before he crashed that though, that thing looked nice.
And in the studio where he could focus on making more hits. And those hits would continue to come thick and fast. By this point, YoungBoy had dropped an insane 14 full projects.
Holy
with
crap.
8 songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 and an insane 11 projects charting on Billboard's 200 albums.
Yeah, YoungBoy.
At the start of 2019, YoungBoy was riding high off the news that he had been named as YouTube's top streaming artist in the United States for nearly 101 weeks straight, with it being claimed that he had racked up a whopping 8 million global views just on YouTube per day, giving him yet another reason to go by the nickname Top, which he apparently got from his grandfather originally. YoungBoy wasn't just having success, he was becoming one of the all-time greats of the rap genre. With his...
Hold up, let's do this math real quick. 365 days a year. So 365 times, well, let's say it was a million would be 365 million, 3.65 billion, 3.65 billion minus 730, so like 2.9 something billion. So this dude was getting almost 3 billion views in a year. That's 8 million views a day. Holy crap.
Unmatchable work rate, creativity, and realness, by just age 19, he had cemented himself as one of the top rappers to ever do it. And no doubt, all of this success was having a devastating effect on the enemies that he had left behind in Baton Rouge. And YoungBoy would continue to use his music and position at the top of the rap game to taunt his rivals and drop clues about the goings-on in Baton Rouge's gang underworld. His first release in 2019 was the song Kick Your Door, an aggressive home invasion anthem where YoungBoy rapped about kicking in doors and doing robberies with his gang. In April 2019, he dropped his new song Free D-Dog, a tribute to an incarcerated homie. The track was an aggressive murder anthem where YoungBoy would boast confidently about having people killed for disrespecting him or his people or speaking on him. He would seem to diss his former crew turned ops TBG, saying that certain people used to run his city but now they can't even claim it, and ending the song saying that his ops will become victims and end up on the news. These lyrics seem to be a cloaked reference to G-Money and Boulevard Quick, two rappers from rival crew TBG who had been gunned down during their beef with NBA, and no doubt that their surviving friends, Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi from TBG, were furious about the ongoing disrespect after losing their close friends. And unfortunately for YoungBoy, soon his beef in the streets would collide with his music career with disastrous consequences. In April 2019, Fredo Bang releases his latest project, Big Ape, an album that saw him repping his TBG flag with pride and dropping numerous songs that included cloaked threats towards YoungBoy. On the opening track, Shoot, he dropped numerous lyrics claiming to be putting money up for people to be killed, even saying outright, when it's beef, nobody's safe, even if you're rich. Throughout the project, he would drop hints towards putting prices on his ops' heads, and it was clear from Fredo Bang's lyrics that TBG wanted YoungBoy gone. And it would only be a month after that project released that the real-life violence would continue to play out on the streets. But this time, trouble wouldn't play out in the slums of Baton Rouge. In fact, the gang warfare would follow YoungBoy to the sandy beaches of Miami. In May 2019, everyone's favorite rap music festival, Rolling Loud, would be set to take place in Miami, and YoungBoy would be in town to perform at the festival in what would be a hugely lucrative and high-profile performance. YoungBoy was booked to play on the Sunday, May 12th slot where Kid Cudi was headlining, but this was a star-studded weekend, and many of the biggest names in the rap game would be in town to perform at this event. Lil Durk was due to perform on Friday, Saturday saw Lil Wayne, 21 Savage, Kodak Black, and Chief Keef touch the stage, and on Sunday, fans would see Lil Uzi, Gucci Mane, G Herbo sharing the stage with YoungBoy. However, all of these crews in town at the same time, no doubt there would be interconnected beefing going on between numerous camps. Apparently, early Friday morning, YoungBoy was attending a strip club party with Young Thug, who was due to perform Saturday, where apparently somebody popped off a few rounds at the party bus that was driving between venues, an attack which TMZ reported was targeting Young Thug.
Young Thug and his entourage became the apparent victims of a drive-by shooting that went down this morning on I-95.
The shooting happened on Interstate 95, and YoungBoy's TBG nemesis Lit Yoshi would later rap on the song Cutter, which dropped a couple of months later in June 2019, that he caught him on the interstate, 7 swerved, I was bussin', seemingly a reference to the shooting on the interstate and naming fellow TBG affiliate Seven Hardaway as the driver. But unfortunately for YoungBoy, that was only the beginning of the trouble, because at this point, it seemed that his ops were in town and on the hunt to try and catch YoungBoy lacking. Lit Yoshi would actually be seen on social media that weekend, riding around Miami, listening to Fredo Bang's album, and holding a rifle, seemingly looking for YoungBoy. On Sunday the 12th of May, when YoungBoy was due to perform, he would make a tweet that was geolocation tagged to Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, warning his ops that he doesn't care who they are or what they did, he will up his gun on them. Fans would warn YoungBoy that the location tag on his tweet meant his ops might be able to locate him, but it was unfortunately too late. YoungBoy's enemies would work out that he was staying at the Trump International Hotel and Beach Resort in Sunny Isles, Miami.
Damn,
apparently YoungBoy was
crazy.
traveling with a large crew that included his girlfriend, as well as OG3 and several other unnamed affiliates and family members. As YoungBoy left the hotel with his entourage to make his way to the Rolling Loud Festival performance, the group would be ambushed by a black Cadillac outside the hotel. According to reports, somebody opened fire from the Escalade towards YoungBoy's entourage, prompting return fire from members of his crew who had their own gun, with court papers later explaining that YoungBoy, his family, and entourage were traveling in a two-car convoy that was shot up drive-by style, with the front car that carried his mother and friends being shot first, with YoungBoy and his girlfriend in the second car that was then also shot at. This would be a chaotic scene, and YoungBoy's girlfriend, Kaylin Marie Long, was hit in the shoulder and later taken to hospital. But the biggest tragedy of all would be a case of incredible bad luck, as according to court documents, in YoungBoy's car was a bag full of guns, and when shots started flying, members of YoungBoy's entourage returned fire with apparently legally registered firearms, and apparently, at some point in the chaos, YoungBoy himself was given a gun and begun shooting back too. Authorities later described them as standing at the valet section, firing rifles wildly from the hip.
Yo, what the? This is like some Tony Montana, like Montana, whatever, like movie shit. Like this is crazy. They're having like a shootout at the valet of the hotel, like in front of the lobby. Like what? I knew none of this. This is insane.
Inevitably, this ended up with some tragic consequences, as 3 bystanders were hit in the crossfire, with it being reported that a 5-year-old child was grazed by a bullet. But even more tragic, one of these gunshots fired between these two warring crews claimed the life of an innocent bystander. 43-year-old Mohammed Jaradi, an honest, hard-working guy minding his own business who had just finished his shift working at the Hertz rent-a-car across the street, would catch a stray bullet and end up losing his life. This was a chaotic scene, with bullets flying and bodies dropping in the middle of the street in a major American city in broad daylight. Eventually, the police would shut down the street and gain control of the crime scene, and footage would circulate showing people being detained at the scene. Once the location had been locked down, the local news began to report on this Wild West shootout.
There was some sort of altercation that took place between 2 rappers who were actually set to perform at the Rolling Loud Festival this evening. Witnesses say they heard someone fire shots, at least 4 or 5 rounds. A woman was struck and raced to Aventura Hospital. Immediately following that shooting, the fight then spilled over again to the strip mall parking lot where we are at. This is directly across the street from the hotel. A man here, again, was shot and killed. A friend of the victims tells me off camera that he was simply an innocent bystander. He was working at the Hertz rental car company here at the strip mall and just parking a car when he was caught in the crossfire.
Now at noon, a tragic day for one South Florida family. Their loved one becomes an innocent victim after shots are fired in the middle of the afternoon.
This type of behavior in this community is not acceptable.
A furious mayor of Sunny Isles Beach speaks out against the violence that erupted in his usually quiet town on Sunday afternoon. It was just before 2 o'clock when police received a 911 call about gunshots fired outside Trump International Beach Resort. When they arrived, they found 19-year-old Kaylin Long of Maryland had been shot inside a black Suburban, and across the street, an innocent man lies dead in the driver's seat of a dark gray van. Long was initially taken to Aventura Hospital. The streak of stray bullets did not end there.
Across the street, there was a 5-year-old little boy that was grazed by a bullet.
Police seized several weapons from the Trump Hotel and combed multiple scenes where gun shells and bullet holes were spotted. Witnesses tell CBS 4 the people involved were rappers reportedly here for the Rolling Loud musical festival.
Despite reports of YoungBoy being detained at the scene,
bro, I'm still in disbelief. This is like this is crazy. Again, this is the type of stuff you see in movies or in like TV shows about gang stuff and cartel stuff, and like that's the type of scene that we're talking about here. That's crazy.
In the midst of the chaos, he would actually manage to break free from authorities, being seen in footage later circulated by TMZ showing him giving his wounded girlfriend medical attention before jumping in a black SUV and fleeing the scene. From here, YoungBoy made his way to the Rolling Loud festival site, performing his set as planned immediately after surviving this assassination attempt.
Dude, what? This dude literally got attacked, survived like basically assassination attempt, fled the scene, and is performing at Rolling Loud? You can't make this shit up, man.
Breaking free from an active crime scene where you were a participant in a shootout so that you can go and perform at a festival might seem cool on paper, but when YoungBoy got off that stage, he would have to face the consequences of what had just happened. However, there would still be some lucky breaks for the NBA crew. Apparently, investigators couldn't even charge anybody in YoungBoy's entourage for shooting back, despite the fact that an innocent bystander was killed, because all of YoungBoy's crew that was still at the scene claimed self-defense, and the state of Florida has a stand-your-ground law in place, whereby if an individual truly believes that deadly force is necessary to protect themselves or to prevent a crime, they can potentially be immune from prosecution.
And I mean, in this scenario, that is not difficult to, it's not difficult to like plant that seed or you know, explain that thought process, because they got shot at first. So you're responding, and if someone's shooting at you, like that's imminent threat, like danger to your life. Damn, man, that's
Cops
crazy.
said that they were apparently looking to determine who had shot first, as whoever shot first could apparently be charged with first-degree murder of the innocent bystander, even if it wasn't their bullet hitting them. In order to try and ensure that YoungBoy wasn't held liable, his legal team described the scene as an assassination attempt of which he was the target.
He's an absolute victim. There's no question. Police investigated it. They talked to him. His car was shot up. He was leaving the hotel. He had his mother in the car. He had his girlfriend in the car. And somebody came up, and I don't know what the weapons were. I don't know if it was an AK or what it was, but they opened fire and lit him on fire.
YoungBoy and his label apparently even offered to cover the funeral costs for the innocent man who died, but it's unclear as to whether or not they were taken up on this offer. The funeral costs for the innocent man who died, but it's unclear as to whether or not they were taken up on this offer. And YoungBoy's lawyer had said that apparently he felt terrible about this, and that he had wished it had been him that was killed rather than the innocent man. It was also initially reported that apparently YoungBoy had refused to cooperate with law enforcement, who wanted to know who had initiated the shootout. But YoungBoy later said that that was just miscommunication, and that they hadn't really been given enough time to try and convince YoungBoy to speak to them about the incident, suggesting that he was scared to cooperate. With none of the actual antagonists who shot first in custody, however, unfortunately the consequences of this incident would still fall on YoungBoy's shoulders. And due to the fact that he was already on thin ice because of the 10-year suspended sentence he got for the attempted murder charges in 2016, a week later he would have to return to Baton Rouge for a court hearing where he was swiftly put back behind bars, with TMZ reporting that he had been jailed once again for violating his probation. This would be numerous violations, including being seen holding a gun in public, and being caught in the presence of NBA Boomer and Ben when the terms of his plea forbid him from associating with them. And apparently the judge had also claimed to have seen a video on social media of YoungBoy antagonizing his ops. Now, this was supposedly a social media which the judge claimed she saw, but then YoungBoy's lawyer, and myself included, couldn't even find.
The judge said that she looked at a news feed regarding the article.
The audio quality of this particular interview of this lawyer is awful. Like, it's piercing your ears, so I'm sorry about that. But damn, the judge follows YoungBoy on social media. I mean, obviously, someone probably brought it to her attention, his or her attention, but
Right. And in the comments there was some sort of embedded video that she since tried to look up, and I don't think she was able to find. So she wants to see if the district attorney's office can find, or whatever videos they find. But I don't know what the video is. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
But based on some of the things I've read, I'm pretty sure the video they're referring to was a clip where YoungBoy actually dissed blog site The Shade Room for covering him negatively.
I'm so sick of the Shade Room trying to paint me as a bad person. What the f*** is wrong with you? I know whoever running this page is grown. What the f*** is you worried about a teenager for?
So it seems the judge kind of misinterpreted what he had done. But I don't think he was supposed to be on social media like that. Anyway, meanwhile in Miami, the police would reveal to the public that they had absolutely no idea who the shooters were, but that they were looking for 3 suspects armed with an AK-47 and other handguns. Coincidentally, with this seeming to describe that very social media clip of TBG rapper Lit Yoshi posted just before the shooting when he was riding around Miami with an AK-47 listening to Fredo Bang. So, with Lit Yoshi still at large, YoungBoy would be left in a Baton Rouge jail, reflecting on everything that had just happened. Clearly, YoungBoy himself was devastated by this sequence of events. He was trying to move on with his life and career away from Baton Rouge, but the violence and death would just continue to follow him wherever he went. Perhaps it was karma for the violence that he had claimed responsibility for. In the song No Understand from YoungBoy's February 2021 project,
it's one of those things, right, where they say, like, you know, things catch up with you. And even if you have decided that, look, I'm done with this, it's time for me to move on, maybe those things aren't done with you. And unfortunately in this situation, I think, especially with the particulars of like this being a rap situation, him becoming literally one of the biggest rap stars. I mean, we're talking 8 million views a day. Like, that's insane. One of the biggest rap stars. And everyone else around him who probably, you know, thought like that should be them. They should have been the big success out of Baton Rouge. They should have been next. That almost adds even more fuel to the fire to pursue him and continue the beef. So, damn, yeah.
He had claimed responsibility for. In the song No Understand from YoungBoy's February 2021 project, Still Flexin', Still Steppin', YoungBoy even speaks on this shooting, saying that as the bullets flew, he didn't have enough time to grab his own gun, and saying that Baba Osama shot back, a claim that is seemingly confirmed by Girardi's family, who is suing both YoungBoy and Baba in relation to the shooting. And then in the next line, YoungBoy seems to pay respects to that innocent bystander who lost his life, as well as the child who was grazed in the shootout, saying that he feels the pain of the innocent, and that when he did his time in jail following the incident, he felt nothing, as he felt that the pain that he went through was suffering that he deserved on behalf of the man who lost his life and the child who was grazed, who shouldn't have been dragged into his conflicts. Following the shooting at the Trump Hotel in Miami, YoungBoy would remain in jail for 90 days before being released, but he would be seen in August 2019 looking like he'd put on some muscle, bailing out of jail and being picked up once again in a fresh Maybach. YoungBoy would be seen in selfies with his mother, and he would later go on live with family in his garage upon getting home.
I love Maybachs. Mercedes, Maybach, fire. He's got a little bit of a mustache there, no?
Hello. Huh? I ain't never had 112 damn people in my life. I never go live. I'm so serious. But they want to see it. They gonna be like, oh, Miss Monique, what they saying, y'all? Kentrell, you still fine. He is still fine, baby. That's right, yeah. He look like a Mexican cartel. We looking, hey, but we don't work well, Chapo, though.
The judge would order YoungBoy to remain on house arrest for 12 months following his release, with the court apparently deciding not to completely revoke his probation, giving him the opportunity to finish out his remaining year of probation without further punishment, in a deal that would not allow him to perform for the entire year either. So no more trips to Miami or California, and no more concerts. So YoungBoy, for the first time in his career, would be confined to his home.
It's such an interesting, like, how specific they can get with the punishment. I mean, like, I think we're all fairly familiar with like standard punishments that people receive, standard probation, but like they can really get specific with the terms and what you're allowed to do and stuff. Like, that's so interesting to me.
Able to play shows, shoot music videos, or slide on ops. He would remain in his home and focus on the one thing that made him successful: recording and releasing music. Already a prolific releaser of music, now with no distractions, as ordered by the court, YoungBoy would kick his creative spirit into overdrive, not only recording an insane amount of music, but arguably delivering the best bodies of work of his entire career, and going on a once-in-a-lifetime run of success, the likes of which the music industry had never seen. After getting out of jail, YoungBoy picked up his career right where he left off, on September the 1st, 2018, dropping a new track called Slime Mentality. This was yet another aggressive murder anthem where YoungBoy pledges allegiance to his gang 4K Trey and letting everybody know that him and his whole family, including his mother, father, sister, and brother, all see themselves as Slime members too. Following that up with audacious lyrics about dropping more bags to have rivals killed, and even promising to die in the hunt for revenge for Dump's death. And all of this, apparently, while ducking the watchful eye of his parole officer. And the chorus of the song lays bare the realities of life in YoungBoy's circle. made cold and ruthless from growing up in such a harsh environment, forcing him to be constantly armed and ready to kill anyone who might want to come and kill him from his city or even out of town. All while confidently boasting that the whole city knows that he and his shooters will kill before they let anyone take them down. Upon his release, YoungBoy was being filmed from the moment he walked out of the prison gates, with that footage serving as the introductory sequence for his next song and music video, the track Self-Control. The song came with lyrics where YoungBoy reflected on the pain he felt after Boozilla was killed and wanting to avenge Dump's death. On the hook, YoungBoy sings a unique melody all about how his chronic smoking habit is a tactic to stop himself from being so dangerous, and describing his entourage as equally dangerous, ready to shoot at the slightest provocation. 20 days after that, he would drop a follow-up song, the iconic House Arrest Tings. That track completely blew up on release, racking up millions of views within days, and to this day, still sitting around 100 million views on YouTube. He would also appear as a feature on the track Richer Than Everybody, with industry heavy hitters Gucci Mane and DaBaby. YoungBoy was dropping songs all in anticipation of his next full-length project, which did not disappoint. On October the 11th, 2019, YoungBoy dropped his latest mixtape, AI YoungBoy 2.
This album
is, in my opinion,
certified
is YoungBoy's best project, and perhaps one of the greatest albums.
Okay, so that's his, he just said that's his favorite. Ah, man, it's tough for me. Like I said, for me, this and Realer, I just literally can't choose between the two of them. They're my second place, and it was just something about his opening album, Until Death Call My Name, that is my favorite. I don't know if I can articulate it well or explain it better, but that's just number one for me. And then AI YoungBoy 2 and Realer are tied for number two. And I've been saying that for a couple months now. Or maybe no, whenever since, how long has it been? It's been a month since I've done Until Death Call My Name. Probably a month. So I've been saying it for at least a month now. But before that, I was back and forth on AI YoungBoy 2 and Realer for first and second place. It's a phenomenal album, guys. So good.
Albums in modern rap history. AI YoungBoy 2 is wall-to-wall with some of YoungBoy's best songs, and throughout the project he showcases an incredible range as a melodic rapper and singer. The project just oozes creativity, and the songs are really like nothing else out there. It's unmistakably unique, with YoungBoy using his trademark style to sing, rap, and whine perfect melodies, all painting a picture of his wild ride from the gutter to the very top of the rap industry. So I actually did an entire breakdown of all of the most important lyrics in AI YoungBoy 2, but it made the video way too long. So if you want to see that, it's in the uncut version that's on Patreon, or it's going to be in the extended version of this chapter going up on my third channel, Trap Law Clips, soon. Ultimately, YoungBoy, stuck on house arrest, poured his heart into his music, and it resulted in one of the most incredible bodies of work in rap history. AI YoungBoy 2 scored a roaring debut, selling an impressive 110,000 units in its first week, and earning YoungBoy his first number one Billboard 200 chart hit. But that wouldn't be YoungBoy's only chart milestone.
So just to be clear, in modern era, since streaming became a thing, that's huge. That is a huge first week. Once upon a time, you would have to be in the few 100,000 if you were the top artist, or few artists like Lil Wayne who hit 1 million in the first week, or Eminem who has the record for, I think it's like 2 million in the first week. You have moments like that. You have 50 Cent who moved few 100,000 or several 100,000 copies in the first week. But that was pre-streaming era. So back then, the only way you could listen to music was if you actually bought physical copies. Now, their calculations and the way that they do this is just completely different. So in modern era, anything over 100,000 is a huge opening week.
That week. As the week before AI YoungBoy released, YoungBoy would end up collaborating with Chicago pop rap star Juice WRLD on the song Bandit. The pairing of Juice WRLD and YoungBoy made for an incredible duo, with Juice's vocals and love song ideas elevating the track conceptually, contrasting with YoungBoy's verse, a classic aggressive murder rap, where he raps openly about having problems and getting rid of people for $20,000, once again painting a picture of his lifestyle, surrounded by killers and sliding on their ops with guns. This track no doubt introduced YoungBoy and Juice WRLD to big audiences that they might not have previously accessed. That track was released on October the 4th, 2019, and this would sadly be the last single released by Juice WRLD before his unfortunate death from an overdose on December the 8th, 2019.
When I reacted to that, some of you commented that to tell me that. That's crazy.
And it would peak at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. becoming YoungBoy's highest charting song of his career to date. And it also became an international hit, charting in 20 countries. And by the end of 2019, YoungBoy had cemented himself as one of the greats in the rap game. He wasn't just taking over the rap game, but he was influencing its direction going forward. And in the coming years, YoungBoy's influence would be undeniable. However, time and time again, the thing holding him back would be legal issues. But luckily, soon YoungBoy would catch a major win, shaking free of a case that had been dogging him for years, and paving the way for him to follow up AI YoungBoy 2, eventually going on one of the most impressive runs that the rap game had ever seen.
Yeah, well, let's see.
Fresh off the success of AI YoungBoy 2, YoungBoy wasn't taking his foot off the gas. He would continue releasing new music and songs like Bring 'Em Out, yet another murder anthem, wall-to-wall with lyrics about contract killings and dropping bags on ops and even their mothers. And YoungBoy himself would still be fighting for his own freedom in the courts. After being sentenced to a year of probation following his involvement in the broad daylight shootout outside the Trump Hotel back when he was in Miami for the Rolling Loud Festival, but it wasn't that shooting that got him in trouble. It was the fact that he was involved in it whilst on a 10-year suspended sentence for the 2016 double attempted murder charge he caught trying to avenge his murdered cousin Boozilla. On December the 13th, 2019, YoungBoy would be back in court where he would score a rare legal victory regarding that case, when the judge ultimately granted a request to terminate his probation early, since apparently he had completed all of his conditions to date.
NBA YoungBoy was in court today. He's no longer on probation and says he plans to leave Louisiana. A judge today ended his probation during a hearing. Lawyers for the rapper, whose real name is Kentrell Gaulden, had argued that he followed all of the court's conditions. Gaulden was arrested back in May after a deadly shootout in Florida. His defense had argued that he was actually the target of the shooting, but he was already on probation in connection to a 2016 shooting.
Yo, this shit for real like a movie though. Like honestly, just the way that this stuff is like coming out. I mean, him walking out in a suit, his girl in like a fur coat, whatever. It's like a movie scene. It's legit like a movie scene.
Grandma, baby. What's up, J Harlow? I got double R. I got big bag. I got me. How you gonna do it?
Congratulations. Oh my God.
Oh,
How do you
feel
into
right
a
now?
Rolls Royce?
Feel good, bro. I ain't lying.
This was a huge win for YoungBoy, and arguably the judge was doing him a huge personal favour. After all, it was plainly clear to anybody who knew the situation that YoungBoy's enemies in Baton Rouge wanted him dead, and it would turn out that the conditions of his probation were actually creating potential danger for him. Apparently, a court-approved music video had actually put YoungBoy's property lease in question, and with limited rental properties available in Baton Rouge where he could genuinely remain safe and anonymous, moving out of the city would be his best option. However, prior restrictions relating to his probations would force him to keep coming back to Baton Rouge, where he would indeed be a huge target for his ops. Atlantic Records would even write a letter to the judge claiming that his personal and financial safety were at risk in Baton Rouge, and the judge actually agreed. So, after being granted his freedom, YoungBoy called Judge Jackson a blessing, saying that she saved him and saying that she had given him opportunity after opportunity up until this point. And honestly, it seemed like this judge truly had YoungBoy's back, apparently previously denying numerous attempts by the district attorney to revoke his probation and send him straight back to jail. She ultimately told YoungBoy that she felt that it was the people around him that didn't have his best interests at heart and that they were bringing him down. And while the judge is clearly trying to give YoungBoy helpful advice from her...
Yo, respect to her though for that. Like sometimes you gotta have someone who can, because I'll tell you this too. I mean, his talent and his success, like it's tough because he came up in this like violence. So you have to have some people who are still about that life, but it's also the thing that keeps you tethered to that life. So it's really tough.
Perspective, realistically, it was the same people bringing trouble into YoungBoy's life that were also putting their lives on the line to protect it. I would personally argue it wasn't YoungBoy's friends bringing him down, but his enemies in the rival crew TBG that kept trying to kill him that were truly bringing him down. And right or wrong, it was the NBA members that were willing to kill, die or serve life in prison, all in the pursuit of protecting their provider YoungBoy. And oh boy was he providing. Because by 2020, YoungBoy had now released 15 full-length projects.
Wow.
And off the back of the success of AI YoungBoy 2, he was now clocking in a total record of 17 songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 and 13 projects charting on Billboard's 200 album chart.
Jesus.
In February 2020, the Wall Street Journal drops an article saying that YoungBoy is the biggest music star you've probably never heard of, pointing to the fact that despite not being a household name globally, he had continued to dominate on YouTube as the top artist, and soon YoungBoy would be ready to follow up his prior success with another full-length project. On February the 21st, 2020, YoungBoy released his first project of the year, Still Flexin', Still Steppin'. This
One moment, guys. I'm just getting a couple texts. They might be important, so I'm noting the time. I'll do my best to cut this part out. Sorry about that, guys. I'm waiting for like a really important text, just in regards to like our immigration and paperwork status with, you know, moving to this country. So sometimes when I see text from certain people, I'm like, this could be the text. It wasn't the text, so let's keep going.
This project had the hit single and another of my personal project of the year, Still Flexin', Still Steppin'.
Very
this project
solid
had
album.
the hit single and another of my personal favorite YoungBoy tracks, Lil Top, which would end up peaking at number 28 on Billboard's Hot 100 Songs chart, with this being the highest charting solo hit of his career to date. But the overall content of this project was very much still gangbanging, which certainly fit in with the title, Still Flexin', Still Steppin'. The project sees YoungBoy describing his life very much still adjacent to the streets, with lyrics all about taking 50k cash out of the bank to fund more hits in the streets. But he would also open up about still feeling depression on the project, along with numerous tributes to his fallen manager Dump, as well as promises to avenge him, and revealing omissions that he is still at war over the murder of his cousin Boozilla. However, on this project, in one of the first instances of caution, on the track Long Road, YoungBoy actually does rap that he didn't kill anyone, with it being unclear if this is him saying that there's no evidence that he's killed anyone, or if for the first time he's actually admitting that while he's living in close proximity to murder and gang violence, he's not actually responsible for any of the murders that he has been associated with over the course of his career. Considering how laced this project is with threats to his ops, it does really make you wonder whether YoungBoy truly is still this gangster that he's portraying in his music, or whether he really is just an artist from the streets selling the gangster image to his audience because he knows that's what sells. In the track Call Me Late, YoungBoy claims to still be ready to kill and go to trial, even claiming that his desire to kill every single op is still his main focus in life. Claims which at this point in his career are kinda hard to take seriously. Clearly YoungBoy is still affected by the lifestyle, rapping elsewhere that he is often seen shaking in his sleep and waking up from nightmares, reaching for the nearest gun. With him going on to say that he doesn't actually want to hurt anybody and that he just wants to be left alone, by his ops, by the police, and by the devil. On the final track of the project, titled No Understand, YoungBoy reflects on his life of crime, saying that he doesn't feel shame for all of the people that died in his beefs, but admitting that he still cries at night over it, as well as reflecting on feeling guilt for the innocent people who were hurt or died during that shootout at the Trump Hotel.
I really like this song too. Now that he's talking about this track, I mean, like Long Road, No Understand, there was at least 2 or 3 other tracks on that album that I really, really like. I would have to be able to see the track list to say it because I've reacted to so many projects at this point. But No Understand I like a lot.
And reflecting on whether or not he's going to have to be the person in his community who breaks the cycle of gang violence, going on to acknowledge that his young shooters who have lost their parents don't know what's important in life yet and are simply programmed to kill. Still Flexin', Still Steppin' was the latest chapter in YoungBoy's story, and he continued to have his fans captivated. This project earned him an impressive #2 debut on the Billboard albums charts, narrowly losing out on the top spot to K-pop sensations BTS.
Bro, hey, listen, there ain't nothing to be embarrassed about losing out to BTS, K-pop. I mean, I only know the biggest songs, but from my understanding, K-pop is like a tsunami wave. So, I mean,
clearly not content with the #2 slot, YoungBoy would do what he does best and continue dropping music throughout 2020. Only 2 months later, on April the 24th, YoungBoy released yet another full-length project titled 38 Baby 2. This project would land the top slot on Billboard, making it his second #1 charting album. Unsurprisingly, 38 Baby 2 is riddled with violent lyrics, threats, and street-related boasts from start to finish. 2020 was shaping up to be the golden age of the gangster rapper, with the rising popularity of Chicago drill rappers like King Von and Lil Durk, as well as the rising popularity of the New York drill scene, which reached a crescendo in 2020 when breakout star Pop Smoke unfortunately lost his life in a California home invasion right at the height of his popularity. It seemed at this point that every city in America had a rapper that was going viral for their music, breaking down the local gang politics. And at this point, it was undeniable that YoungBoy was the undisputed king of violent murder raps, and he wouldn't take his foot off the gas all of 2020. Continuing to make music that appeared to hint at his violent past. And his next project would deliver exactly what these rap fans were asking for, and he would continue to reap the benefits. On September the 11th, 2020, YoungBoy's latest release, Top, would come out, with this technically being his second studio album, despite the fact that he had dropped full-length, album-quality mixtapes non-stop ever since signing his label deal with Atlantic. With his album Top, YoungBoy had once again landed the Billboard #1 position, with this being his third #1 album in the span of just a year. And at a stretch, if you want to include Still Flexin', that's 4 top 2 albums in less than 12 months. That's one of the most impressive runs of success in rap history. Very nearly challenging Future, who famously dropped 5 #1 charting albums in the span of 2 years. YoungBoy would end 2020 on top once again, holding down his spot as the most streamed artist in the US on YouTube, ahead of Lil Baby, Drake, and Bad Bunny, with a colossal 2.66 billion streams for the year. At the young age of 20, YoungBoy had already cemented himself as one of the most beloved rappers in the industry. With a catalogue the size of many veteran rappers and Billboard records brewing, it would be hard to imagine where things would go next. Unfortunately, however, despite all of his mainstream success, these Billboard charting songs were still laced with violent content that continued to prod and threaten his rap rivals back in Baton Rouge. And even from the safety of his home, YoungBoy's words would travel, and back in Baton Rouge, the violence would continue to play out, where fortunately for YoungBoy, eventually the authorities would manage to lock up one of his most dangerous rivals.
Wow, man. I mean, we're just pausing for a quick moment as we enter this new chapter. We're going to continue right along here, but listen, man, it's cool. Like, I think that with some of the beef-related videos that I watched, like, obviously I got a lot of information, but this is just super in-depth. Like, I got to shout out again, Trap Lord Ross. The amount of research you would have put in, the amount of effort you put into creating this. I'm very, very impressed. This is very well done. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
While YoungBoy was breaking records in the music industry and living the high life, albeit often on house arrest, his enemies in Baton Rouge were continuing the long-running gang conflict, with rappers and shooters affiliated with TBG, Top Boy Gorilla, relentless on their search to harm NBA or 4K Trey members, all in a quest to avenge the deaths of G Money and Boulevard Quick. One of the most prominent rappers and shooters was a TBG affiliate known as Lit Yoshi, who'd already been rumoured to have played a role in the murder of YoungBoy's manager Big Dump, and subsequently even released numerous songs claiming to have smoked him. Lit Yoshi was truly a loose cannon, and wanted all of Baton Rouge to know just how savage he was in the streets. He appeared on the song with fellow TBG affiliate Seven Hardaway, the track Yo Hardaway, a song where he shocked fans with an outlandish lyric where he claimed, "Bitch, you know I'm evil, I'll step on Jesus." In the very same song, Hardaway disses YoungBoy by rapping, "For a Trey 8 baby, I got 38 cradles," and reminding him of that ill-fated shootout.
Yo, that's some of the craziest. Whoa.
"For a Trey 8 baby, I got 38 cradles," and reminding him of that ill-fated shootout in Miami by rapping, "You will never make your show cause we might kill you for rehearsal." Members from TBG were still attacking the NBA crew and their affiliates, whether on songs or in the actual streets.
Bro, those lyrics gave me goosebumps. Holy shit. That was aggressive. That was very aggressive.
According to documents later revealed in court, Lit Yoshi was connected to a February 2019 shooting at a house associated with BBG members. BBG being the crew that YoungBoy's cousin Boozilla famously repped heavily before NBA became famous. 2 months later, Yoshi would allegedly strike again. On the 10th of April 2019, police would be seen securing a crime scene on a stretch of Highland Road in Baton Rouge. The police would initially attempt to keep details of the incident secret. However, court documents would later reveal that Lit Yoshi was accused of performing a drive-by on that street. with 4 people being hit by a shooter firing an assault rifle at them outside of a convenience store. But the really crazy thing is that after these 2 shootings, Yoshi would still evade arrest, and only a month after this alleged quadruple attempted murder, Lit Yoshi would then be connected to the shootout targeting YoungBoy outside the Trump Hotel in Miami, with an innocent bystander unfortunately losing their life. However, thankfully, authorities would eventually put together their case and take Yoshi off the streets. 4 months after the Trump Hotel shooting in September 2019, Yoshi would be rapping on the song Blasting, all about hitting people with bullets so hard they'll think they're 7.62s. 3 months after that, in December 2019, he would be arrested by authorities in connection to the April 2019 quadruple shooting, as detectives revealed that both the 7.62 cartridge was apparently found at the scene and that the victim of the drive-by identified Yoshi as the shooter. With all of this evidence landing Lit Yoshi, real name Myoshi Edwards, to eventually be charged with 4 counts of attempted murder over the incident.
That's a very creative name, unique, Myoshi. I don't know if I've ever met or heard of a Myoshi. Listen, man, this is what I talked about earlier too. Like, the new wave rappers, y'all gotta stop being so specific in your music. Like, you could have, set a different caliber. It didn't have to be so accurate.
With police also claiming that ballistics proved that the same gun was used in the February 2019 shooting at the 3000 block of Crestwood Street, the known BBG house. The cops would describe Yoshi as a TBG enforcer, and even claim publicly that Yoshi was a suspect in numerous murders prior to these charges. But in an insane turn of fate, despite the apparent danger that Lit Yoshi clearly posed to the community, Baton Rouge authorities did not keep him locked up, and within a week of the public learning of his arrest, Lit Yoshi was miraculously bailed out, to which he would celebrate by dropping a music video for a new song titled First Day Out. The music video starts with a menacing intro taken from a YouTube documentary, where a computer-generated voice lists the charges that Yoshi was arrested for, with this being followed by a real-life shot of him walking out of the same jail that YoungBoy has walked out of so many times before. The song itself is mostly Yoshi taunting his ops, with some incredibly incriminating lyrics given the charges, such as Yoshi telling the listeners how he still has the same Glock that made him drop, and how he still gets a drop on all the ops and continues spinning their blocks. The brazenness of the song wasn't lost on the fans, who would clown him in the comments for self-snitching, imagining his lawyer listening to the song and immediately having a heart attack. And despite the incredibly serious charges that Yoshi was facing, he would seemingly make no efforts to slow down or stop his street habits. However, while that Yoshi was causing chaos in Baton Rouge and finessing his way out of trouble, the deadly gang war would continue to play out in the streets.
So one of the things I was going to say about that is that I think when you do something and the consequences, that either there's no consequences or the consequences enforced on you are not bad enough or hurt enough to make you feel deterred from doing that thing, it actually does the opposite effect. It makes you more brave to do more, to push the boundaries more, to be more brazen, more open, like, instead of hiding stuff, because now you're like, whoa, that's it? Like, I didn't get in more trouble? Okay, I guess I could deal with that. Let's do it again. So just a thought.
On the 22nd of March 2020, a shooting would occur at the family home of an NBA affiliate. 37-year-old Travis Parker, known in the streets as T-Baby or T-Main, who some have claimed was the brother-in-law of the late Big Dump, would be shot and killed in his home, while a 62-year-old woman believed to be his mother would be wounded but fortunately survived. T-Baby was apparently a close friend of NBA 4K Trey affiliate YMM captain, and they had been seen pictured together in slime green bandanas. People on social media would identify their close friendship and work out that TBG rival Fredo Bang had seemingly been trolling Captain by liking his tribute post to T-Baby on Instagram. Unfortunately for Fredo Bang, exactly a week later, the tables would turn, and he would end up grieving the loss of his own friend. On Sunday, the 29th of March 2020, a man was found shot to dead in front of a food mart in Baton Rouge. Police would reveal the name of the deceased man as 36-year-old Jason Nixon, with a gun violence memorial website confirming that he was a TBG affiliate who went by the name Dutch. Dutch was apparently an older and well-respected member of TBG, and he could often be seen hanging around other TBG artists like Fredo Bang, Lit Yoshi, and Boulevard Sleepy, including appearing in the music video for Lit Yoshi's song First Day Out. And TBG members would seemingly turn out to show love at his funeral. TBG rapper Seven Hardaway was a close friend of TBG Dutch, and he mourned the death of his friend by posting a photo of him on his IG story, along with the ominous song War Baby by Roddy Ricch, a track which discusses the trauma of growing up in a war zone where you have to slide on the sliders. Then, a few months later, Hardaway would release a heartfelt song titled Pain, where he reminisces all about his fallen friends, including TBG Dutch. But while TBG affiliates were posting tributes to Dutch, NBA and 4K Trey affiliates were seemingly dissing him, with Baby Joe making an Instagram story making fun of TBG members whose feelings would have been hurt over Dutch's death. Also in March 2020, Lit Yoshi and NBA Michi Baby would go back and forth on social media, after it was rumored that Michi had been a target of one of Yoshi's shootings and was potentially planning to testify. Fredo Bang and Yoshi would post an image to Instagram apparently showing a letter that Michi had received from the authorities, informing him that he was formally listed as a victim in a shooting case and that he would need to go to court and appear as a witness. However, this letter didn't have any kind of indication that he was a cooperating witness, and it seems to me, simply put, that the feds identified him as being shot or being shot at and are simply hoping that he will turn up to court and give evidence, with Michi taking to IG himself to claim that he did receive a letter from the cops, but that he had no intention of taking the stand and that the letter wasn't even addressed to him personally.
Stupid. Man, listen, I know I literally just gave a shout out, but I got to do it again because I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for like all of the way that things are formatted, the way you're laying stuff out, there's so much going on here. There's so many different people. This is an immense amount of information and stuff. So I appreciate all the effort. Again, Trap Lord Ross. Hey man, you a goat.
Y'all better go read that f***ing paper. I got told on somebody. Stupid is lit. The paper is on Instagram. Read the f***ing paper. Stupid. The f*** I told on my. You don't see no statement with Lawrence Wilson back. Ain't my f***ing name and ain't my f***ing address. Those stupid over sound me too. Bitch, read the shit. Them turn. Y'all this boy. Turn. Let's turn. Read. What it said I told on. Oh, bitch, they was me up. It's the piece of paper. Didn't say done and flow. Big dog, man. Hey, that said done and flow.
He would go on to admit that Yoshi did shoot at him and that the cops took him to jail and then sent him the letter.
Shot at me, and the people they sent a piece of paper to my house. They sent a piece of paper to my house. They shot at me, I ain't leave that. The police pulled up, I went to jail at night and everything, man. Stop playing with me, man.
However, that didn't stop Yoshi, who would continue to mock Michi on Instagram, even tagging him directly in a post, asking him not to come to court on him. And he would also post another story calling Michi an informant just because he received that letter and saying that they have no evidence on Yoshi, and that he's being taken to court purely because of Michi's statement, and suggesting that Michi did this to get off probation himself.
Get on here, talk about some fake. Yeah, stop playing. That's the paper that came to your front door. Playing. NBA Michi is a rat. You heard what I said? That ain't the paperwork saying exactly what he said, but that's the paperwork saying that you's a victim. You said something and they need you to back up on my court date because they don't have nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? They only got probation for 5 years, 10 years in jail if you get caught with a gun. You just got out. You swapped me out, huh? Yeah, you made a deal with the people and swapped me out for your probation, huh?
Now, Michi would continue to deny that he was a snitch, calling out Yoshi for attention seeking. Fortunately for Yoshi, these statements would come back to haunt him. But even with all of this attention around the situation, he would allegedly continue to slide in the streets and shoot at his ops only a couple of weeks later. A week after the murder of TBG Dutch, on the 6th of April 2020, two masked men were caught on security camera footage shooting at somebody in a parking lot of an apartment complex in East Baton Rouge. While the intended target of the shooters is off screen, the camera would capture the frightful moments of an innocent bystander sitting in their car getting caught in the crossfire. One of the shooters would later turn out to be Lit.
I couldn't tell if they were shooting at the car. That was an innocent bystander sitting in the middle of them shooting. Yo, this has got to stop. I feel like, you know what we need to do? We need to bring back old school duels. Like, forget all this street drive-by shooting, random. Like, let's meet in an open field I have one gun, you have one gun. Let's walk 10 paces away from each other. Somebody says 3, 2, 1, go. You turn around, you get one shot, pa! And whoever wins, wins. That's it. Let's bring back dueling in the streets. Like, let's make it respectful again. This is crazy. That's an innocent person, maybe like trying to go to the bank or something. I don't know what if they said where this was at, but they're sitting in their car and there's bullets flying over their head. Their car might be getting hit. Like, that's crazy, bro.
While the intended target of the shooters is off screen, the camera would capture the frightful moments of an innocent bystander sitting in their car getting caught in the crossfire. One of the shooters would later turn out to be Lit Yoshi. In fact, he would appear in a social media post along with Seven Hardaway wearing the exact same outfit from the shooting surveillance footage, a black Night-Tech hoodie and grey sweats, while Seven Hardaway would be wearing a different hoodie, but it is clear that he also matches the build of the other shooter in the footage. This was seemingly a post laughing about the shooting incident and tagging Fredo Bang, letting him know that they were in a good mood after carrying out the shooting. One of the targets of this incident was later revealed to have been the NBA affiliate who was later convicted in connection to the murder of G Money, NBA Lil Pap, aka DeAndre Fields. And the other target of the shooting would seemingly be Michi Baby, with later court documents pointing out that Yoshi had quite literally tried to kill the same man that he was just calling a snitch a month before on social media, which would leave one to believe that Yoshi was actively attempting to kill the witness/victim of the previous shooting, all in an attempt to beat that charge. But ironically, he would now be on the hook for yet another crime. And it was only 10 days after that alleged shooting that Yoshi would make yet another IG Live where he accused NBA members of snitching on him and FL Dusa.
I don't want to go to jail. Them boys free Dusa already doing 5 years with them. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want no smoke with no BBG. All of my boys. So y'all stop saying that like I'm beefing with them boys. I'm not. I don't want no smoke with none of them. I'm scared of them. They'll end your life. They'll have you face the time. I'm scared of them boys. They're my boys. I love them. I don't want no beef with them. Somebody died, the whole city rep on one body. That's crazy. If somebody died, the whole city will get on Instagram and rep on it. And ain't got nothing to do with it. These crazy. These better start sliding for their own people that's dead. Or people who still up.
Dusa was still sitting in jail during this time, but even behind bars, he was still stoking the conflict and dropping jail freestyles threatening his ops, and seemingly alluding to that incident back in 2016 where an NBA member got shot in the neck when YoungBoy and others had tried to slide on them following the death of Boozilla.
You know, again, I just sit here and I'm so confused. Like, they are making these videos to be put out in the world. Like, it's one thing to put lyrics in a song because the gray area that music can exist in, that it's art, that it was for entertainment, I was making a story. But when you're making videos and you're taking pictures and you're doing this stuff and you have a recording of you talking, I mean, you're just digging yourself into a hole that you can't get out of because now you're providing. Who cares? You can't even complain about snitching at this point because you're snitching on yourself. How are you going to say that somebody else is snitching when you're literally putting videos out of you talking about it? Like, people aren't stupid. Detectives aren't stupid. I mean,
now, speak on me the same reason they put 6 feet, elevated soul of God to a sky to waiting for the family. Yeah, I'm living like I'm Big Meech. Cross me and I'm a burn to the 5th degree. The 10th with ease, I'm a squeeze till he bleed out. With that barrel in his mouth, a fifth that I'm posting in my city with them birds and they get down. If my house, they burned it down, them killers promise real now. They shot his brother in his neck. And you know I got no respect except for him and around him. I have no regret. Altercation with that other. He gonna die for that. My shooters even twitching. They like, come on, cut the check.
Meanwhile, on the streets, despite being firmly in the crosshairs of law enforcement, Lit Yoshi would continue to allegedly be involved in shootouts, this time on the 4th of July. in one of the most reckless incidents seen in this story. Police would respond to a drive-by shooting on the 11300 block of Greenwell Springs Road, which had apparently targeted a car in which 2 adults and 2 children were inside. All 4 passengers in the vehicle would end up in hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. But the police would soon have a breakthrough, linking the rental car used in both the April and July 2020 shootings to Lit Yoshi's girlfriend, who had rented it in her real name. Yoshi would be the subject of a search warrant, with cops finding an assault rifle in his car that matched the crime scene's ballistics. Detectives also found a pair of shoes at Yoshi's apartment that were used by one of the shooters in the April shooting that was all caught on camera. Yoshi's arrest would make the local news as soon as cops took him into custody.
A man is behind bars tonight after police connected him to a shooting on Greenwell Springs Road that happened over the weekend. Video surveillance linked Yoshi Edwards to that shooting. 2 children and 2 adults were shot when a car pulled next to theirs and began shooting. When police took Edwards into custody, they actually realized he had an active arrest warrant for a shooting that happened back in April that sent 1 person to the hospital. Edwards is now charged with 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder, among other charges.
So, Lit Yoshi would be facing a whopping 7 attempted murder charges on the 9th of July 2020. But
let's get that clear. They said 7. 7 attempted murder charge. How in the world? Is that the same judge, Bonnie Jackson? Bond at $1.1 million. Oh.
In an absolutely insane move by the Baton Rouge judiciary, he would be given bail once again just a day later, with a $1.16 million bond being set, ironically by the very same judge who kept on giving YoungBoy chances in his attempted murder case. But hey, maybe she was a TBG fan too. But anyway, eventually it would appear as if sense prevailed in the courtrooms of Baton Rouge, because after this, another judge stepped in to place a bond hold on Yoshi, with all of his shooting cases being combined and handed to yet another judge who set Yoshi a combined bond price of $1.82 million. But this still gave him the option to bond out, apparently with the option to go on house arrest in another state, Florida, where he would still be allowed to make music. However, Yoshi would be banned from making social media postings, and this is perhaps why we heard very little from Yoshi publicly during this time. But it did seem like he was indeed able to bond out and go to Florida as planned, filing a not guilty.
Bro, these dudes have so much money. I mean, you look at that 1.8 million, it feels like that would be really hard for most people to get, but these dudes are just like, all right, 1.8, send it, wire it.
Plea on August 3rd, 2020, with his family apparently putting up the $1.82 million bond that he would need to be released, as he told the court he was indeed moving to Florida. While Yoshi was in the midst of his legal battles, YoungBoy and Fredo Bang would continue to go back and forth on social media. On July the 20th, they would both post videos showing that they're outside, with Fredo driving around, possibly in Baton Rouge, along with his fellow TBG rapper Seven Hardaway and the rest of the TBG posse, telling the camera how his ops aren't in their own hood.
We on location, don't be in that hood, you heard me? About the mud like a bag.
With YoungBoy replying with a story of his own, speeding in a car and telling the ops they need to catch him if they want to assassinate him.
I love being rich, you hear me? You gotta come catch me to assassinate me with your scary.
The following month, in August 2020, Fredo Bang and YoungBoy would go back and forth on social media yet again, as Fredo was teasing his upcoming album titled In the Name of G, a tribute to his fallen TBG friend G Money. It would soon emerge that Fredo was eyeing a September the 11th release date for the project. This, unfortunately, would also be the intended release date of YoungBoy's upcoming project, Top. Fredo would post on his Instagram story saying how it seems that they'll be both dropping their albums on the same day and calling YoungBoy his son, to which YoungBoy would reply with a furious video rant, along with a caption telling Fredo that he's going to catch him and shoot him, and even going as far as to tell Fredo he's not a killer and that he should go and dig all 3 of his dead friends up, a reference to the deaths of G Money, Boulevard Quick, and TBG Dutch. YoungBoy would also say that he's not in competition with Fredo and that Fredo wants to do everything he does, even bizarrely accusing Fredo Bang of wanting to be just like YoungBoy and trying to smash every girl that YoungBoy smashes, and strangely saying that if he smashed Fredo's mum, Fredo would probably try and do it too.
Hey, you a bum, you ass. Go dig all 3 of your brothers up with your scary. You a. Stop running from me. I ain't in no competition with you. Stop writing me. You a. You ain't no killer. You won't be like me. You write me all day. You a. Man, I could double back. Hey, I could any. Gonna try to double back and I could your mama. You gonna try to your mama. You a pure.
Fredo would soon reply with his own video, where he would act much more calm and collected than YoungBoy, telling viewers to go and help YoungBoy with his anger issues. Fredo would then diss YoungBoy's fallen friend Dump, making fun of his weight and his death, saying that he needed an extra large coffin, as well as mocking NBA member KD, who had reportedly become paralyzed after being shot in yet another shooting in April 2019, a fact which is apparently a closely guarded secret in the NBA camp.
Man, somebody go help little brother out, bro. He angry, dog. He angry. Talking about dead partners and shit. Like I'm on this talking about fat boy and that extra large coffin he got. You hear me? Or Professor X, how gotta push his half dead around. I'm not on this talking about that.
Dude did not just say Professor X. Oh my God, the disrespect to the. Oh my God.
I said I was somewhere else. You drop it, it's how I drop.
Fredo would also address YoungBoy's claim that he tries to smash all of his girls by saying it's not his fault that the girls send him DMs.
Then you mad about it ain't my fault all your bitch in my DM. We share two. Now all of a sudden I'm just everything. You stop playing, man.
Meanwhile, even with TBG's main shooter Lit Yoshi exiled to house arrest in Florida, NBA members would still live in constant danger in Baton Rouge, and there would be back-to-back shootings in November. At around 7 p.m. on the 20th of November 2020.
But I'm curious though, because like, you know, Fredo Bang kind of calling him out, dropping on the same day, and then he's talking about album sales. I mean, in my mind, logically speaking, knowing what YoungBoy was able to do, the charts, the first week sales, in my mind, logically, it doesn't feel like that's a fair battle. Like I can't fathom Fredo Bang competing with him in numbers. Now, I'm not sure what the numbers actually were. I don't know if Ross is going to include that in the video, but that's just kind of what I was thinking when I hear that call out. It kind of makes me think of 50 Cent, Kanye, and at that time, Kanye was on like this, you know, like out of world trajectory. 50 Cent was kind of like fizzling out a little bit because his follow-up projects just didn't match the opening project that he had. And so when he called out Kanye West, it was a good business move for him because it created this buzz. And I think he knew he was going to lose. But he's a good businessman, so he knew that creating that buzz meant that his sales would do better than if that buzz and that beef wasn't there. So I'm almost curious if it's the same thing.
Baton Rouge police arrived to the racetrack gas station at the 8,000 block of Airline Highway, amid reports of a shooting nearby. Cops would find 2 people shot at that gas station, with one person surviving, but the other person passing away en route to hospital. It's unclear if this incident was related to the rap feud in Baton Rouge, but what happened next absolutely was. The following day...
Shout out to Racetrack, by the way. The big ones, I mean, the selection, the drinks, the ices or slushies, whatever they're called, golly, it's good.
At around 11:30 p.m. on November the 21st, 2020, at the Z Quick Mart gas station store on Hooper, Baton Rouge police would report a shooting where the victim had returned gunfire and survived, with fans capturing a heavy police presence at the location immediately after reports. Over the following days, hip-hop news media would report the shooting of a prominent NBA member, Big B, and it would later be reported that Big B was in the hospital after taking a shot to the leg. And after some time, he would begin to be seen on social media showing off his injuries and mobility aids, even posting a picture to Instagram supposedly at the Z Quick Mart gas station, pump number 8, where he was apparently found after being shot. Interestingly, after the shooting, reports would also circulate suggesting that the person who shot him was now dead. However, it was unclear exactly who this supposed deceased shooter was. It seemed logical that perhaps the man at the scene who was shot when Big B was returning fire was the original shooter who may have been hit. Conversely, according to one wild fan theory, an apparent revenge attack had happened all the way in Houston, citing a double shooting at a North Houston motel, the Green Chase Inn, on November the 21st, where a man was found dead. That would turn out to be false, however, as that man was found dead at 9 p.m. the same night, 3.5 hours before Big B was actually shot. I actually believe that people are confusing the November the 20th gas station shooting the day before Big B got shot, which as far as I'm aware is completely unrelated to the Big B situation, and actually was related to a home invasion where somebody got killed in self-defense. Also, not related to this incident.
Yo, somebody give this guy like an award or something for literally doing all this research and tracking out what's connected, what's not connected, breaking it down. I'm very impressed because
And Big B himself would even come out to deny having killed the person who shot him in a Fuchsia's TV interview.
You got shot in the leg, right?
Yeah.
At the gas station. And I was doing my research. It said that I guess the person that shot at you or something, that he died. Is that true?
Nah, but people, they just making stories and all kinds of shit.
Regardless of whether or not revenge was carried out, this was clearly a major incident that affected the NBA camp, and this incident would soon make its way to music. Later on, in the song Soul Snatchers, that was released in June 2022, Big B raps how he didn't have time to aim, but still shot back when he was shot at, which many people believe is a reference to this incident. YoungBoy would also rap in his song Lost Soul Survivor, released in August 2020, how someone shot his brother 5 times, but he didn't die, and in fact shot back. Only a few weeks after Big B getting shot, in December 2020, TBG rapper Seven Hardaway would come out with a diss track titled Treason, seemingly aimed at NBA and specifically YoungBoy himself. Hardaway begins the song by rapping about YoungBoy's early days and how he used to coach him when YoungBoy was still friendly with TBG. Then, he expresses his disappointment at YoungBoy's beefs with Floyd Mayweather and Jay Prince, calling him stupid and illiterate, while also telling how NBA are always dissing TBG but are hiding when Hardaway and Lit Yoshi come out into the streets, and going on later in the song to diss YoungBoy's use of auto-tune, a lack of street cred, and his hunger for clout. Meanwhile, back in Miami, videos of Lit Yoshi enjoying life on house arrest would eventually make their way to vlogs on his YouTube channel, documenting the months that he spent on house arrest, where he would openly shout out his gang as he prepared to spend big money on his case, and telling the world that house arrest ain't stopping anything.
TBG Gorilla Gang, bang biz. Court today is up at the court. I should be hearing good news. We got the racks. They think I'm broke, man. That house arrest shit ain't stopping, boy.
And clearly, Lit Yoshi had become a big fan of Chicago rappers King Von and Lil Durk, rapping some of Von's most violent lyrics whilst walking around his house.
Plus no beef. We into it till you die, real street. At your funeral, I might just slide. Rest in peace. You know I know. My like Greta Faro.
And also singing along to Lil Durk lyrics about shootings on the way to court. Yoshi's vlog would show him preparing for court, with him apparently highly confident of the judge giving him even more freedoms, telling viewers how he had been on his best behavior for about 3 months now, and complaining that staying in the house doesn't fit him as he likes to move around.
TBG Gorilla Gang, finna go to court. Everything should be looking good, boy. Hop in that form. I ain't worrying about nothing in my city. You know what's down. I've been good for 3 months, baby. They gotta let me do something. Been killing me, boy. I've been stuck in the house 2.5 months, man. I couldn't even leave out that. That ain't Yo-Yo, boy. Y'all know Yo-Yo like to move around, boy.
Yoshi would be boastful about getting out on bail during this time, claiming that he felt like a free man already and that the judge just needed to put the icing on the cake.
Yeah, man, it feel good to ride back around, man. I feel like a free man again. All I need is the judge to put the icing on the cake, baby. You hear him? So I eat my cake like anime.
Now, this bravado...
Eat my cake like anime. I mean, just to kind of put some perspective here, he was in house arrest for 2.5 months and is like done with it and like needs to be out. And you know, we know YoungBoy's situation. I mean, it must be devastating to his mental health.
Turned out to be misplaced, as it would turn out that at this hearing in November 2020, the judge actually admonished Yoshi for having too much fun on bail, even going as far as to claim that he was treating his house arrest as a paid vacation, since Yoshi was amongst friends, having fun and making music, with the district attorney complaining that Yoshi was violating curfew by moving around Miami late at night on jet skis and relaxing on the beach. As a punishment, his curfew was extended from starting from 8 p.m. to starting at 6 p.m. and running to 6 a.m. the next day, and telling him specifically no more jet skis or visits to glitzy Miami beauty spots like Biscayne Bay and South Beach. And even in his vlog, we would soon see a stressed out Yoshi after court, where he claimed that they tried to keep him locked up in court and that his situation might not be improving.
I almost sent my back to jail. What? Like that. Just talking about stupid misunderstood in last coordination. Man, boy, I thought I wasn't about to leave out that. And I still can't do nothing though. I still can't do nothing. They had me in that bill about 4 hours. These, I thought I wasn't coming out there. They was talking. Thought everything was gonna go better than what it did, but it didn't. Sit back again.
Yoshi would even open up, saying that prosecutors had actively tried to completely revoke his bond, with fellow TBG rapper Seven Hardaway trying to put a positive spin on things, saying that that's not a problem because they got money and they could put up another $2 million bail.
They're trying to revoke my bond. I ain't even get a chance to talk about me back working.
You hear me? Look, they try to revoke my partner bond, but
so
we got money.
On a strict house arrest.
So, you know, look. I don't know, $2 million bond. You hear me? Which I want another $2 million? Ain't no money. Got plenty of money.
After being
Can you imagine as us like normal people casually talking about $2 million like that? Guys, let's dream. One day.
Being briefly humbled by almost losing his house arrest privileges, in time, Yoshi would revert back to his cocky attitude, perhaps as a result of that big stack of money truly going to his head. Yoshi would continue to record and release music during this stint on house arrest, with lyrics giving us a peek into his mental state during this period. In the song Get Back, released late in December 2020, Yoshi showed no signs of giving up his violent lifestyle, a track coming laced with pointed lyrics about dead op boys and taunting his ops, asking what they're gonna do about it. An insane lyric when you consider the fact that this guy seems to repeatedly target his ops with no care to the innocent people or children who get in the way, and the police just can't seem to keep him behind bars. In the song Bust Down, released 5th of February 2021, Yoshi tells how some of his friends did him wrong during his house arrest, rapping that some of them thought it was over for him, but they got it wrong because he's still making lots of money on house arrest. He also threatens to put a $10,000 bounty on someone's head, just like he did to their brother. Ironically, it would seem that around the times Yoshi would be at his most brazen, the courts would deliver bad news in his case. 20 days after that song, about putting money on people's heads, the judge in his upcoming case would deliver yet another devastating blow to his defense, by ruling that the jury would be allowed to hear evidence about his alleged involvement in the Miami hotel incident that targeted YoungBoy in 2019. And this
Look, I'm going to say this. I don't think that's a coincidence. Like, how do they not have, like, smart people around them in their corner to tell them, hey, listen, if you openly show off about doing illegal things, for example, trying to murder people or murdering people or putting out hits to have people murdered, it may not help your court case on your attempted murder charges. Just a thought. Look, I just don't get it. I'm so confused.
This announcement would come with numerous revelations that spelled disaster for Yoshi's case. Allegedly, phone records from the time of the shooting in Miami gave investigators Lit Yoshi's approximate cell phone location, which turned out to be on the same street as the Trump Hotel where YoungBoy was shot and an innocent man died. In fact, Yoshi was allegedly on the phone to an unspecified...
YoungBoy was shot at. He said YoungBoy was shot, but I don't think he got hit, so YoungBoy was shot at.
...incarcerated TBG member who was in jail while at the location of the shooting. Not only that, but prosecutors would also use his Instagram lives against him, where he had publicly claimed that NBA members had ratted on him in the June 2019 drive-by shooting case. But even more crazy than that is the fact that in spite of all of the mounting evidence against him, Yoshi would continue dropping music that continued to incriminate him. In his song Together, released on July the 16th, 2021, Yoshi would take the self-incrimination to a whole new level, rapping that his ops are going to die together and alluding to doing a drive-by shooting, saying that he will pull up next to his ops' car and try and make them fly. Even going as far as to say he doesn't care if his ops are with their families, he will shoot them wherever. Yoshi also raps about catching someone slipping and shooting him and then killing a couple more people. Outrageous lyrics when you consider the fact that at the time this released, he was on house arrest for numerous shootings, including a car-to-car drive-by that targeted a family with 2 children in the car. Ultimately, it would seem that finally, the judge, prosecutors, and police had eventually seen enough, and Yoshi's stint on house arrest in his plush South Florida home would come to an end on the 22nd of July 2021. While Lit Yoshi was staying at TBG label mate Fredo Bang's house, federal agents would suddenly burst in using smoke bombs, assault rifles, and tactical gear, with cops presenting outstanding warrants in Baton Rouge for both Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi, arresting them both. This would apparently be the result result of probation violations, as the terms of Yoshi's release stated that he wasn't allowed to appear in music videos, post on social media, or possess firearms. And Fredo Bang was also on probation for pleading guilty to a weapons charge relating to a 2015 shooting in Baton Rouge. Unfortunately for Fredo Bang, during the raid, guns were also found inside his home, along with a stolen car parked outside, and the presence of these firearms would mean big trouble for Yoshi too. Just days after the raid, authorities would announce that they were adding another attempted murder charge to his case, the April 2020 shooting where he had allegedly tried to kill NBA Pap and NBA Michi Baby the month after accusing him of snitching on him. Things had turned for Yoshi, and it would only get worse from here. His bond was officially revoked by a Baton Rouge judge on September the 9th, 2021, with federal agents who conducted the raid testifying that 5 guns, ammunition, and a bulletproof vest had all been found in Fredo's house while Yoshi was there. And Yoshi's March 2020 social media posts calling the victims of one of these shootings NBA Michi a snitch was also used against him. This was a dumb move, because calling the victim a snitch publicly is basically an admission that you in fact did the crime. But even in light of all of this damning evidence, Yoshi's team were apparently working on a strategy of trying to finesse him out of jail on bail once again. But that plan would ultimately fall flat when it was revealed in court that Yoshi's DNA was found on a gun that was recovered in the July raid. Apparently this DNA evidence would link Yoshi directly to the shootings that he was being investigated for, which meant that he would have absolutely no chance of making bail again, and meaning that he'd be sat behind bars awaiting trial rather than living it up in Miami. Eventually, in July 2022, Lit Yoshi pleaded guilty to charges connected to 2 shootings in 2019 and 2020, and as a result, Yoshi was sentenced to face 15 years in prison at a hard labor facility, followed by 3 years of active parole. Funnily enough though, a month later, Yoshi would claim to have been tricked by prosecutors and launching a bid to change his plea from guilty back to not guilty, arguing that his lawyer never told him that he would get 15 years for accepting the guilty plea, suggesting that he was only expecting to get 6.5, even claiming that during negotiations, his lawyer had actually been suspended from practicing law. It was a long shot, but it was the best that Yoshi could hope for. And while things were getting very serious for Yoshi behind bars, Hardaway was still upping the ante on the war back in Baton Rouge. In August 2022, he released an EP titled Transition, where he would take numerous shots against YoungBoy, NBA, and 4K Trey. In the song Sinister, Hardaway disses YoungBoy, saying that while his albums are going #1, his friends back in Baton Rouge are getting killed. After hearing about these lyrics, Big B would actually comment, "Who died?" insinuating that nobody from their side had been killed recently. The following month, unfortunately, someone would indeed lose their life, but it wouldn't be an NBA member, because on the night of Tuesday, the 20th of September, 2022, at around 8 p.m., Seven Hardaway, real name Stanley Wright, was in the parking lot of the building where he lived, the Sherwood Place apartment complex in Baton Rouge. Here, he was approached by unknown assailants who shot him from close range, leaving him on the pavement where he would ultimately lose his life, being laid to rest just days later, where he would be seen surrounded by
look, you know, I remember I said something like, I think it was actually probably about Vaughn, and someone was like, "Oh, I can't believe you're saying rest in peace to like someone who killed people." And like, listen, it's complicated, and maybe not everybody agrees with this, but like for me, anybody dying it shouldn't happen. I mean, this is why we have, you know, the law and courts and prison. Now, as I say that, it's with a heavy, heavy heart, because those systems are super corrupt. So that part sucks when innocent people are there. But if you're doing shit like this, man, like, I'm sorry if you don't like that I'm going to say this, you deserve to be in jail. Like, this, you can't just go around killing people or trying to kill people or shooting and like hurting random people. Like, it just can't. That's not how society can function properly, right? But it still sucks that, you know,
TBG members. Police were quick to determine that this homicide was gang-related, and specifically targeted Seven for his affiliations to TBG and connection to Lit Yoshi. With that in mind, it was no surprise what happened next. TBG's enemies would soon begin commenting on Hardaway's death on social media. 4K Trey affiliates would be seen on IG Live laughing and saying that they were smoking on number 7.
We got him lagging. New iPad? What new iPad?
On a dead, now they talking to him. You got a chance to say it to their face. Say it with your chest. They was dissing on it.
And of course, his friends would make posts hinting at future getback. However, despite being quick to determine the death of Hardaway as gang-related, the Baton Rouge police once again have struggled to find the killer, making his death yet another devastating statistic of Baton Rouge's out-of-control gang war. And speaking of numbers, Back in prison, the last-minute attempt to backtrack on his guilty plea proved to be an enormous failure for Lit Yoshi, and in May 2023, Yoshi's bid to change his plea was officially rejected, leaving him set to serve the full 15 years of hard labor, essentially leaving the streets of Baton Rouge and Miami for the next 15 years just a little bit safer for adults and children alike. I think it's important here just to reiterate the fact that there is nothing glamorous about this gangbanging lifestyle. Lit Yoshi got what he deserved. He was a man who, despite having a musical talent, was primarily focused on continuing this gang war and shooting at his rivals. He had no remorse for the innocent men, women, or children who got in the way, and he's frankly a deplorable human being who absolutely deserves to be taken off the streets for 15 years because of the things he did. But that doesn't mean that his ops aren't without blame either. But there's no way of looking at it. Lit Yoshi was clearly a danger to society and absolutely should have been put away sooner. However, his absence from the gang war wouldn't mean bliss or safety for Baton Rouge's most famous rap crew. In fact, it would be the very opposite, as while TBG's most feared shooter was finally facing the legal repercussions of his reckless actions, a whole other group of reckless gangsters from Chicago would soon enter the picture, starting a beef with YoungBoy that he never even wanted to be part of. But in this case, this beef was very personal, because it involved the mother of one of YoungBoy's many children, and ultimately would wind up becoming another deadly feud that would claim the lives of people on both sides.
Oh shit. Listen, y'all know what's about to happen. Let's look at these chapters real quick. We got Golden Family Explained. Then we got Death of King Von, Lil Durk, YoungBoy beef. Jesus. Let's see. Where does that take us? That takes us to 4 hours. That's another 30 something minutes. Let's see if we can make it to the 4 hour mark. We're gonna try. So we got another 35 minutes or 38 minutes, whatever. Let's see. I just finished my caffeine, so I think I can handle it.
Despite his turbulent life in the streets, family has always been important to YoungBoy. Despite growing up with an unstable home life, he always found friends to call his brothers, and older figures to nurture him, whether his biological mother Sharonda, his grandmother who raised him like a mother, or his best friend OG3's mother who took him in as one of her own. With that in mind, it's no surprise that since becoming a father at the young age of 16, YoungBoy has taken his family obligations very seriously, and let me tell you, it's ended up being one big family. Despite his young age, YoungBoy has had quite the love life, and at the age of 23, he has been reported as having as many as 11 children.
Good
However, that
Lord.
might not be entirely accurate. So I actually did a full breakdown on YoungBoy's family tree, his dating history, and the timeline of when he had all of his children. But once again, I didn't have enough time in this YouTube version to fit it all in. So if you want to see that, check out the uncut version of the video on Patreon, or the extended version of this chapter that's going to go up on my third channel, Trap Law Clips, soon. All in all, YoungBoy's relationship history has been a roller coaster ride that has left him with a large family of at least 10 biological children to 8 different baby mothers. YoungBoy's enormous family would provide him with many blessings and a lot of love at home, but it would also leave him with a lot of vulnerabilities to his enemies. With so many people to look after and look out for, it wouldn't be surprising that his opposition might try and use some of those closest to him to attack him. Ultimately, it was one particular relationship that would end up forever altering not just the lives of YoungBoy and his partners, but also the lives of the people around him, with one of the mothers of his children ultimately ending up being used as a pawn in a rap beef between YoungBoy and Chicago drill rapper King Von, with Jania's involvement in the beef being the first escalation in a series of unfortunate events which would ultimately end in numerous people losing their lives in front of millions of people. If you watched my recent video, King Von, Rap's First Serial Killer, then you'll already know about the dark past.
No spoilers. We haven't watched it yet. It's coming soon, this week.
Of Chicago rapper King Von. But in case you didn't, let me get you up to speed. King Von is a rapper hailing from Chicago, more specifically, the Parkway Gardens housing projects, better known as O Block. This housing development is famous for its association with the pioneer of Chicago drill music, Chief Keef, the teenage rap phenomenon who brought Chicago drill music to the mainstream of rap. With his raps all about the violent gang wars playing out in Chicago, giving many all over the world their first look at gang life in America's most dangerous city. But back in 2012, when Chief Keef was making music all about the gang wars in his city, King Von was really living those lyrics. Von was a prominent member of the Black Disciples street gang, specifically the set hailing from O Block, who were engaged in a bitter war with their rivals, a group of Gangster disciples from 63rd. In my previous video about King...
I'm going to give a strange shout out here. I know only a little bit about the gangs of Chicago through my favorite Chicago rapper of all time, Lupe Fiasco. And he had a line, there was only the street that segregated the BDs and the GDs. But he was talking about this, like, you know, this type of stuff. So shout out to my favorite, Lupe.
Von, I reviewed King Von's rumoured involvement in as many as 7 gang-related murders between 2012 and 2014, and I made the argument that he is in fact a serial killer by FBI's own definition of the term, due to the fact that he appeared to claim responsibility for more than 3 murders with more than a month's time span between them. But it wasn't just that I believe made Von a serial killer. It's the fact that even after beating a murder charge in 2017, he would be released from jail, at which point he would partner with his childhood friend and prominent Chicago drill rapper Lil Durk, launching his very own rap career. Not only using his music to boast about and drop clues concerning the at least 7 murders he was associated with, but he would allegedly use the money he made rapping about these murders to continue to have people killed, with Von taking a great deal of personal gratification from being known all over the world for getting away with this series of gruesome murders. And with his jaw-dropping raps all about specific murders that he had been associated with over the years, rap and true crime fans all over the world flocked to Von's music, with intense debate taking place over whether or not he truly was the multiple murderer he claimed to be in his songs. Over the course of 2019 and 2020, King Von would release a string of well-received songs that made him an infamous figure in the rap world, most notably his Crazy Story series of songs where he used lyrics to tell a vivid story of life in the streets, all about his attempts to rob people, getting in shootouts, and using women to set up his ops to get killed. One of Von's biggest career moments came in 2020, when he released his song Took Her to the O.
That song is fire.
This storytelling song painted a picture of Von using a woman to set up and kill real-life rival rapper of his, FBG Duck. The music video would even depict Von shooting FBG Duck and leaving him dead on the ground. Then, in an eerie turn of events, the real-life FBG Duck would be shot dead in the middle of a busy Chicago street by a gang of masked men only months after this video was released. Took Her to the O would become one of King Von's biggest hits, sitting in a catalogue of other big songs and features with millions of views and streams. By mid-2020, King Von was a multi-millionaire rapper with a bright future and one of the biggest buzzes in the rap game. But behind the scenes, there was seemingly tension brewing between him and YoungBoy, who at the time, in mid-2020, was the undisputed king of street rap, having dropped a string of chart-topping projects. Now, it's unclear exactly where the beef between Von and YoungBoy's crew started, but it likely all had something to do with Von's friend and mentor, Chicago rapper Lil Durk. Lil Durk and YoungBoy actually collaborated on a November 2017 track called My Side, and it's believed that Lil Durk had even tried to sign YoungBoy back in 2017, with this being revealed on the intro to YoungBoy's song GG on AI YoungBoy, where he raps, "Tell OTF I do not sign, NBA, that be my gang." As we now know, YoungBoy went on to sign a lucrative multi-million-dollar deal with Atlantic. Ultimately, signing to Lil Durk, let's face it, in 2017 would not have been a great career move. At that point, while he was a respected artist in the streets of Chicago, Lil Durk's biggest career achievement was his 2015 Remember My Name album, which peaked at 14 on the Billboard albums chart. Lil Durk had never had a song on the charts at this point. And by the end of 2017, YoungBoy had surpassed Durk's chart record with 3 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 and 3 projects on Billboard's 200 albums charts. In many ways, YoungBoy dodged a bullet by not signing with Durk and quickly surpassed him in every way. Lil Durk's career was essentially floundering until King Von came out of jail and re-energized him. Durk's only song on Billboard before 2020 was an appearance on a 2018 Lil Baby and Gunna track off White V-Lone. But by the end of 2019, Lil Durk had had 7 projects land on the Billboard 200 albums charts. But in the time since turning Durk's offer down, YoungBoy had amassed 17 songs charting on the Billboard Hot 100 and 13 projects charting on Billboard's 200 albums chart. While YoungBoy had seemingly turned down the chance to align himself with Durk and his OTF collective, he had built up a legacy in his own right, and at this point, there was seemingly no beef with them. In 2018, Lil Durk would be seen popping up in an IG Live with YoungBoy, where things seemed cool between them. Also in 2018, Lil Durk would continue his hunt for other up-and-coming street rappers to align himself with and potentially sign to his label. Another up-and-comer that Lil Durk discovered early was Savannah street superstar Quando Rondo, who after blowing up with his track I Remember, featuring Atlanta legend and close friend of Lil Durk's, Lil Baby, would go on to collaborate with Durk on the song Other Side, which appeared on Quando's first commercial mixtape, Life Before Fame. In fact, Quando and his team were clearly big fans of Durk, with Quando's cousin and close friend Lil Pab tweeting his love of Lil Durk's song This Ain't What You Want way back in 2013, saying that this song is better than everything. After the success of his first major single and mixtape, the rap industry was buzzing around Quando Rondo, and there would be intense competition between labels trying to sign him. But he would eventually catch the attention of fellow singing gangster rapper YoungBoy, who commented on his video asking Quando for his number.
And he commented under the video and wanted my number and stuff.
YoungBoy and Quando would connect and hit it off behind the scenes. And in June 2018, Quando would officially sign to YoungBoy's label, Never Broke Again, announcing it to Instagram with a post, attracting congratulatory replies from NBA heavy hitters. And days later, Quando would be seen on stage with YoungBoy and the NBA crew, where he received his NBA chain from OG3 and throws up Rollin' 60 Crip gang signs for the crowd.
Never broke again, too.
Oh! Yeah. Stop playing like game now. On the count of three, everybody say NBA never broke again. 1, 2, 3. NBA never broke again! Neighborhood, I appreciate that, man, bro. He said neighborhood. Put that on right quick, you know neighborhood.
Hey, say 3. What up? Make sure you bang on him before you walk off the stage. You hear me?
I'm finna bang on him. You mind if I wild out right quick though? Bang on it one more time for me. Hold on, I gotta get this on camera. Everybody gotta scream neighborhood one time. Yo, what? On the count of 3, everybody scream neighborhood. 1, 2, 3.
Eventually, Quando ends up appearing on 3 of 4 tracks on YoungBoy's 4-track 4 Loyalty EP. However, once again, despite how things played out, it didn't seem from the outset that there was any kind of tension between Durk, YoungBoy, and Quando. Durk would even name Quando as one of the artists he was spending a lot of time in the studio with in a 2018 XXL interview. Funnily enough, Quando also shouted out Lil Durk in 2 tracks on his 2019 mixtape From the Neighborhood to the Stage, rapping in Dope Boy Dreams that he signed to the streets 3 times, he feels like Durk, referencing Lil Durk's Signed to the Streets mixtape series, and rapping on the song My Section that Durk had told him to treat the rap game like the drug game. Perhaps an indication that Durk had been giving Quando advice on how to navigate the industry before he signed to NBA. At the end of March 2019, Quando would actually be seen backstage with Lil Durk's newest artist, King Von, wearing a matching outfit and hyping King Von up by dissing his ops from 63rd in Chicago.
I'm saying though, 63rd, dirty. I'm talking about, hey listen though man, 64, man, y'all 64 over there smoking crack.
In August 2019.
So I remember that from, I watched like one of the beef videos about Quando and King Von. So I remember that video. I've seen that clip.
Lil Durk puts out a list of his 50 greatest rappers, and both YoungBoy and Quando Rondo are on that list. Durk would caption that image, saying that these rappers are people that changed the culture. And I would argue in many ways that Lil Durk was clearly inspired by Quando and YoungBoy's style of gangster pain music. And arguably, Durk's career revival in 2019 and 2020 was helped massively by the popularity of the type of auto-tuned gangster rap singing that YoungBoy was most known for. Durk and Quando would seemingly remain friends into the start of 2020, with Durk even appearing on Quando's song Safest, even shouting him out as one of his favorite rappers. However, it would seem that somewhere in 2020, things would change, and that would all have something to do with King Von. Despite playing nice backstage with Quando in March 2019, a month before, King Von appeared to diss YoungBoy in front of a fan on IG Live.
You YoungBoy? Why? Just damn.
Man.
What if like you cheat? Go ahead, say you I'm gonna hang up with your ass. No, I raised.
I just left.
Yeah,
He cool,
I
right?
don't know, so I can't speak on
He ain't all that, you know.
What you trying to say? Like,
I'm just trying to see what you feel about the nigga. He cool.
he's straight. He ain't better than you. He ain't better than you.
Yeah, for sure. Cause he don't be doing it. I ain't gonna do it. Cause he, hey.
Von would continue to disrespect YoungBoy publicly following.
I just don't get it, man. Like, why? I don't get why this had to happen. I don't get why this particular path had to be chosen. Because if everything up until this point is friendly, why? I just don't get it.
A month later, in March, taking to social media to say that YoungBoy's music is full of lies, and that he's not a real gangster like he says he is in his music.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
He talking crazy on this thing.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On his cap. You got cap in your raps.
Go straight, boss. Don't hit the white lady.
You got cap in your raps.
Now, this is interesting because it says to me that perhaps Von's problem with YoungBoy is that he felt he wasn't worthy of his reputation. We've already discussed YoungBoy's numerous lyrics over the years where he appears to infer that he's killed over 7 people. However, this supposed body count has been heavily doubted and debated, with it really being believed that when YoungBoy says he has bodies, he's really referring to the many people around him who have lost their lives over the years. Or at a push, that YoungBoy is perhaps responsible for these killings through either paying assassins to kill for him, or simply the fact that these people end up getting killed when they try and beef with him. The idea that YoungBoy has 7 or more bodies is ambiguous and shrouded in mystery and misdirection. However, when it comes to King Von, the situation is the complete opposite. King Von has rapped repeatedly that he has 7 bodies, and in my video, King Von Raps First Serial Killer, you can quite easily line up King Von's lyrics and tweets with real reported murders in Chicago, along with his own arrest records, to make a very compelling case that Von did indeed personally murder at least 7 people. Von was a killer, and he wanted everyone in the rap industry to know it. And perhaps he was upset at the idea that a man much younger and richer and more successful than him could reach the very top of the gangster rap game without demonstrating that he is truly capable of committing murder firsthand, with Von seemingly deciding that the fastest way to the top of the rap game would be to punk YoungBoy and expose him as a fake killer, proving to the rap game and the world at large that Von had personally committed the murders like he rapped about, unlike YoungBoy, and therefore Von felt he was more worthy of the top spot than YoungBoy. But initially this beef was just petty sneak disses being sent from Von. When
I just don't, man. It was not, I don't think it was worth it. I think you were talented enough and you were making enough momentum, and Dirk was on the rise, and I think that you could have done great things just from that. I don't think that this was necessary.
YoungBoy was released from jail in August 2019 after he got caught up in the Trump Hotel shooting that violated his probation. Von would welcome him home with a snarky tweet that ended calling him ugly. And over the course of the next year, Von would even be seen copying YoungBoy's mannerisms and beginning to quote him during his Instagram lives.
Boy, as my grandma raised me, you hear me? You know I ain't. What up?
My grandma raised me. You know I ain't no.
Whether there was any real beef between OTF and NBA at the time is unclear, but the two crews were clearly competitive. In October 2019, when DJ Academics would claim that YoungBoy was the realest street rapper to appear since the original Chicago drill scene, Dirk would comment on the post, proposing that King Von was even realer than YoungBoy. Some months later, in February 2020, Von seemed to indicate on Twitter that he and YoungBoy had a song together, telling YoungBoy that he should drop it and stop holding the song so close to his chest. At some point following this, Von would even be seen on an IG Live, suggesting that he likes YoungBoy and that YoungBoy probably has too much going on with his case to reply to him.
I fuck with NBA YoungBoy too. They just got a lot of going on. You just can't be fucking nobody when they got all this going on. You trying to get rich, they trying to, I don't know what they got going on.
It's unclear exactly where this beef between Von and YoungBoy and Quando really started, but two people would seemingly play a major role in the feud escalating. YoungBoy's ex-girlfriend and the mother to his 4th child, Jania, and King Von's ex-girlfriend, female rapper Asian Doll. The relationship between Von and Asian would be revealed to the world in an interview with Lil Durk in early 2019.
King Von, I'm saying he in a relationship too.
Shout out Asian Doll.
Okay.
Yeah, he go ahead, yeah.
You heard it here, man. He looking at you like, come on, man.
So to they
Von appeared to fall deeply in love with Asian Doll. Combine this with his reputation as a prolific killer in the Chicago gang war, and you have a recipe for disaster. Von would tweet saying that he would be willing to beat anyone up who messed with Asian Doll, and he apparently beat a man senseless for calling her a bitch in the studio.
Asian the reason my hair like this. Somebody called my girlfriend a bitch yesterday. And you ain't gonna smack one of them out of his. Tell him what happened to my hand, bro.
Folks overbeat his.
Call my girlfriend.
Woke her back up.
I was looking for a car. See, and again, in this moment, I wonder, and this is not just about Vaughn, this is about every person, including YoungBoy. You got millions in your bank account. You have every opportunity in the world open to you now, thanks to your talent and the opportunities that it has given you and you have taken advantage of. Why? And I get it. Like, I mean, you grow up around it, so it's quintessential to your being, and like it's the normal thing, that it's like the thing that your mind goes to is like instinct. But man, like the risk assessment and risk management is just not there.
Where you go? Everybody do that. I'm doing like y'all finna overdo it. I'm out. He already did, man. Philip already told him he got blood everywhere, man. He finna get blood on.
Asian would appreciate Von's protection, calling him her bodyguard on Twitter, with Von himself saying that he wishes she wasn't a rapper so that he could keep her at home and protect her, saying that he doesn't trust her around other rappers.
But isn't it nice to have somebody in the same industry as you?
No, that ain't. I'd rather have. I wish I can't say I wish she wasn't a rapper, nothing like that. But it'd be better if I knew like she's at the house instead of going around all these people that ain't around and damn, what's going on? Now I'm just thinking, what you doing? Why she ain't answering the phone?
And that's how she be feeling.
She feel the same. I just said that.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I wish my was in the damn house.
Yeah.
So it's been times when you didn't like it, she had to work with her.
I'm not gonna say nothing because you gotta be.
Like y'all
you gotta be for sure with yourself,
yeah.
man. I know I'm that. So
Von was clearly very possessive about Asian Doll, even tweeting that he would kill somebody for messing with her. However, things would eventually get complicated between Von and Asian, and during the summer of 2020, their relationship appeared to go through an on and off stage, where Von would sometimes indicate on social media that the couple had broken up, while at other times they seemed to be back together. Von was apparently a single man again, and after his high-profile relationship with fellow industry rapper and social media star Asian Doll, he would be looking to get into a new entanglement that might grab some headlines. But his next move would be incredibly bold, and seemingly out of nowhere, Von would make a declaration of war against YoungBoy. In mid-August, Von would post a cryptic tweet saying that he had just made a hit song with a female that people won't believe, and that it was going to be crazy. That very same day, images would surface online showing Von spending private time with none other than Jania, the mother of YoungBoy's fourth child. And later, speculation would begin to swirl off the back of tweets made by Von and his sister Kayla that Von and Jania might have even created a sex tape during their time together. And these rumors would later be strengthened by leaked DMs from an alleged inside source who claimed that Von and Jania had indeed slept together, not recorded music. Rumors that Von would later seemingly confirm in the song Rose Gold with PNB Rock, where he seems to suggest that somebody's baby mother was bad in bed. However, Jania would deny the rumors, saying that they had in fact just made music together so that she can make money for her son.
We walked to the table to play the little game after my studio session, and I went home. That's it. Y'all trying to make stories out of nothing. I don't that man. Like I said, I don't with no. I've been working. We have a song coming out. Y'all wasn't supposed to know, but it is what it is now. We have a song coming out. So when the song come out, y'all go with it. Just know it's hard as you feel me. I'm just trying to get my money to take care of my son. Period.
Her claims would also be supported by leaked DMs, this time from Von, who alleged that he was just trying to make Asian Doll mad and jealous. However, Asian Doll would then challenge Jania's claims, claiming that she had actually seen romantic DMs between Von and Jania.
Now I've seen it in them DMs. I've been seeing. None of this not a surprise. So all that song.
Whatever the truth may be.
Man, these things get so complicated. If this is what really sparked it, like, listen, Vaughn was already kind of being disrespectful and doing stuff, but if this is what sparked it, oh my God, it's so dumb.
This certainly wasn't the first time that Jania had been rumoured to have had relations with YoungBoy's enemies, as she had previously been connected to both Fredo Bang and Jay the Young'un. Furthermore, leaked DMs from YoungBoy's future wife Jaslyn would seem to suggest that YoungBoy was still hooking up with Jania while she was running around with Von. Nevertheless, despite YoungBoy's relationship with Jania officially being over at this point, he took this rumoured hookup between Von and Jania as a very personal attack from Von. And the following day, YoungBoy would respond, posting a picture of him and his son holding stacks of cash, along with a caption saying that since Von likes to troll so much, he's going to make sure that when his son grows up, he he smashes Von's daughter. Now, around the same time, for reasons that are still largely unknown, Von's childhood friend and fellow Chirac savage Lil Reese decided to join the beef by tweeting his intentions to beat up YoungBoy's artist Quando Rondo, to which Quando would reply saying that Reese won't do anything.
Man, ain't gonna do nothing to me. No academics. Man, you don't deserve to live no more bit, bro. I hope you on God.
At this point, seemingly out of nowhere, suddenly YoungBoy and Quando were beefing with Lil Durk, King Von, and Lil Reese, three of the most famous and respected rappers ever to come out of Chicago. War had now been declared, and things were about to escalate. That same day, YoungBoy would also go live while playing an unreleased song. This song would later turn out to be the murder anthem, Dead Trolls, with YoungBoy addressing Von, saying that he wants to see him, and saying that he shouldn't come fishing around his lake, which kind of suggests that Von used the pictures with Jania to bait YoungBoy into beefing him. In the next lyric, YoungBoy makes the wild claim to have 7 bodies in his hometown, just like Von was rumoured to have 7 bodies in Chicago, before then going on to threaten to shoot somebody from out of town as soon as they land, and seemingly dissing Jania for messing with his ops for money. YoungBoy would also rap that his ops are mad that they can't get a feature from him, perhaps a hint to a potentially uncleared collaboration between the two artists being held back by YoungBoy, as one of Von's earlier tweets seemed to suggest. And in the song's outro, YoungBoy makes an interesting reference to the Chicago basketball legend D. Rose, who had a phenomenal start to his career in his hometown team Chicago Bulls, but later went through difficult times in other cities and teams due to injuries. A possible reference to the fact that Lil Durk and Von had moved out of Chicago to Atlanta at this point in their careers, as well as the fact that they famously were friends with another gang member from Chicago who went by the nickname D. Rose. Now, fans' reaction to this song was mixed, with some arguing that it was dedicated to the numerous other enemies that YoungBoy had made in the rap game and the streets over the years, while others would argue that the entire song was all about King Von. Some would even later claim that the song had actually predicted King Von's death.
What do you guys think? You think it was about Von, or you think it was about, you know, the Louisiana stuff? I firmly believe in life that coincidences are not really, like, if there's an environment for something going on and things can feel pointed, I think that it's a purposeful thing. But again, I mean, I'm just curious what you guys think.
As YoungBoy raps about planning on killing someone in Atlanta, while also claiming that he will do it after their show where their next one is at. And while that certainly seems far-fetched and more like a creepy coincidence, what isn't a coincidence is the fact that YoungBoy decided to drop this snippet right after Von had been seen photographed with the mother of his child. A day later, Von tweets claiming not to have a girlfriend and to be focusing on his career. But it seems that Von had paid attention to YoungBoy, because just a few days after the snippet of Dead Trolls hit the internet, Von would drop a snippet of his own, a track titled Too Real, a song where he raps that he will expose someone and that he's going to kill someone because of a rap beef. About a month later in September, Von would address the beef with YoungBoy during an IG live, saying that he doesn't want beef over insignificant things and with people from other states, but if he gets the feeling that someone doesn't like him, he really doesn't even need a reason to escalate things.
But everybody, I ain't a tour nobody, you hear me? Tour the people I've been having in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Cause I wouldn't be a tour with nobody from all in another town. No reason, like you gotta be in tour with somebody for a reason. Just know we in tour gang, okay? Nah, you see what I'm saying? I'm the type, I don't gotta know why we in tour or nothing. You only gotta tell me why you don't like me. Don't even tell me why you don't like me. I don't even care. Just let me know you don't like me. You see what I'm saying? Let me know how you don't like me. If that's what it is. Let me know. I'm like, alright, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. But I'm so gangster that I don't need a reason. It don't gotta be no reason. We can be into it. Like, I don't care. It don't gotta be a reason, for real. I'm into it, people. It don't gotta be no reason. I don't know why. I don't care why. But it can be that, you see what I'm saying? Well, I like to know why we into it. I like that. I need to, because I ain't no goofy. Like, what the and then I play hard. I ain't trying to lose. I can't lose to nobody. Lose to who? Who, Lloyd? Who I'ma lose to? Tell him, you been knowing me, Lloyd. Like, don't I go hard at everything I do? Tell him, you came from, how you get a chain in your neck, Lloyd?
Later in September, after having recently reiterated that he wasn't looking for relationships but was open for something more casual, Von and his sister Kayla were spotted at a club with Jania again, and with Kayla even posting their night on social media, calling Jania her sis. This would prompt Asian Doll to respond to the situation between her and Von during an IG Live in October, where she would deny that Von had embarrassed her by messing with Jania and saying that if Von is single, his actions have nothing to do with her.
Nobody embarrassed me, gang. Y'all need to get off my shit. Like, nobody embarrassed me. Nobody. It's nothing nobody did to embarrass me. I was not embarrassed. Y'all mad about a tweet. Like, y'all, like, dude don't even know you f***ing clowns. The f*** y'all hoes get left for me. Smack one of you bitches for me. You crazy, bitch. I don't get no f***. I'm a real bitch at the end of the day. Like I said, you would never see me sweat. You would never see me go outside behind nobody. I don't give a who you is, friend, anybody. Mind your business. When I'm single, like, that don't have nothing to do with me. I'm not stressing that. I'm not tweeting nothing. They don't have to do with me, gang. Nothing. When somebody's single, so what? What they do? I don't give a fuck. That's what y'all problem.
However, not much long after, Von would go live with Asian, and the two appeared to be on friendly terms. This was a confusing situation, but perhaps in the words of the great
I'm very confused, man. Come on.
Juicy J, these hoes were for everybody. And in October, King Von will release a song speaking on the situation in the same sentiment. Von would begin to promote his new song called Mine Too, where Von essentially raps, "I ain't finna beef about girls with someone, because their girl is mine too." Clearly he's talking about Jania here, and he appeared to throw direct shots at YoungBoy on the song too, rapping about having beef in NOLA, or Louisiana, where YoungBoy is from, and saying that somebody acts gangster on the mic, but now Von wants to see if he is really gangster in real life. Ironically though, a day after this song came out, Von would also tweet that once someone has slept with his girl, he doesn't want her anymore, because as it turned out, YoungBoy may have given Von a taste of his own medicine by hooking up with Asian Doll around this time. In October 2020, after the rumoured breakup with Von, Asian Doll tweets saying that she only dates killers with 3 bodies or more. Now, considering the fact that YoungBoy had just released his King Von diss song, Dead Trolls, where he rapped that he was responsible for 7 murders in his hometown, YoungBoy would seemingly meet the 3 murder requirement to date Asian Doll. And leaked DMs from YoungBoy.
Bro, that's so bizarre. Like, I don't get that at all. I don't think any of this is some, like, stuff to think is cool or try to I just don't think it makes sense.
Camp would later seemingly suggest that Asian and YoungBoy had indeed hooked up, and Asian Doll would even seem to admit the affair in her song No Exposing. YoungBoy's producer would further feed the rumour mill by posting screenshots of messages that YoungBoy had allegedly sent him from Asian Doll's Instagram account. Things were getting petty, and now YoungBoy was proving that the sentiment behind King Von's song Mine Too was true both ways. But things would only get more and more personal as the days went on. On November the 4th, 2020, only days before King Von would end up losing his life, YoungBoy posts a snippet of a new song that he apparently made with Asian Doll, a song with the ominous working title, Meet the Reaper. Von would quickly respond by tweeting that the song is trash, and he would continue with an all-day tweet storm, during which he would once again allude and joke about a sex tape existing between him and Jania, and claiming that he is actually happy for Asian Doll, but that the song is still trash, before rehashing a lyric from his song Mine Too, once again indicating that Asian is still his girl too. This all went down on November the 4th, 2020, about a day before he would lose his life. Von was incredibly active on Twitter this day, and he would continue throwing shots at YoungBoy, tweeting that rappers are and that he's not one of them, and he would warn people to approach him with caution, and saying that his ops are acting gangster, but that's not what they're really like, whilst also trying to convince his audience, and perhaps himself, that his feelings weren't hurt and he was simply providing entertainment, with Von eventually saying in another deleted tweet that he's going to lead by example because he's older than YoungBoy, and saying that he's quitting the beef because many wars have started over a woman and that he's not beefing YoungBoy. He said that they're sharing the same women and these women don't even matter and aren't all that. And then, in the very last recorded interview before his death, King Von told DJ Academics that there was no real beef between him and YoungBoy, saying that they just had the same girl and claiming that things were just being exaggerated by people on the internet.
People told me you and YoungBoy was beefing or something like that. You said something about what happened, Von? What's going on with you, man?
They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same interests, and then you know how the internet will try to make it.
Don't tell me I got problems over girls.
No, it's the internet, gang. It's the you know, they'll try to make it like that because it's the internet. You see what I'm saying? And then you know how females will try to make it like that because they females, and they'll try to make it like one more hard and try to. It be just all type, but it ain't nothing too serious, nothing what you should worry about.
Unfortunately for Von, things would be very serious indeed. And the very night after that interview, Von himself would escalate things out of his own control and ultimately wound up getting more than he bargained for. Just after midnight on the 5th of November 2020, Von tweets his location for the evening, a show at Atlanta club Opium. Von would go live on Instagram on the way to the club in good spirits, rapping along to his own music. He would go live pre-show with the name of the club pinned, and he would be seen on Instagram, posted up, smoking hookah with his entourage of O-Block natives. He went on to play that concert at Opium, where he would be seen jamming out on stage at the club. Just after 1 AM, Von retweeted a Young and Ace lyric with a caption saying his crew are going to catch someone and he sees them as food. While Von is performing at Opium, Quando Rondo and his entourage are fresh off recording a new music video for a song called The Drop, being seen after that shoot on social media, showing off an array of high-powered weapons that they're holding. After finishing his show, Von would be seen leaving Opium in an SUV, and interestingly, the truck can be heard playing the YoungBoy song My Window as it drove away.
A lot of cars behind him. Stop playing!
For some reason, Von would confuse his team by choosing not to go back to his Airbnb as his security crew.
Why was he playing the YoungBoy song? That's a fire song though, My Window.
Originally thought, instead taking a last-minute and unexplained detour to the Monaco Hookah Lounge, where Quando Rondo was hanging out with his crew, with Von's manager 100K Track telling DJ Vlad that his team were blindsided by the change in plan.
He went over there to the after party, and then his driver and his homeboy let us know that we was redirected. We're thinking we're going to go to the Airbnb or the hotel.
At around 3 AM that night, Von would find himself outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge, where according to 100K Track, the team would wait for almost 40 minutes in their cars, confused as to why they were there. Von himself seems to have spent that time on Twitter, where he would post his last tweet, ominously mentioning how he murders any beat he gets on. Then, only minutes after this tweet, Von would exit his car and walk across the parking lot, where he would run into Quando Rondo and immediately begun attacking him with heavy punches and no warning, sparking chaos in the large crowd around them. Unfortunately, what Von didn't know was that Quando Rondo's good friend Lil Tim was seemingly ready for the action, and he would quickly approach the two with his gun ready, letting off shots and hitting Von a total of 5 times. From there, things would quickly escalate. Von's friends from O-Block, Slutty, BJ and Louie, immediately got their guns out and began to return fire to Lil Tim, leaving Tim wounded but alive on the ground, as Slutty's gun appears to jam right when he's standing over Lil Tim about to execute him. While chaos is ensuing all around them, Von is seemingly wrestling with Quando on the ground, perhaps instinctively grabbing onto him whilst holding onto his life, until King Von's friend Muwop approaches the two and separating them by striking Quando once with a large punch. Meanwhile, Von's other friends Slutty, BJ and Louie attempt to flee the scene after taking part in the shootout and almost killing Lil Tim, without realizing that they were running directly towards police officers who open fire, believing that their lives are in danger too. This killed Slutty and left Louie in critical condition with a headshot wound, and BJ was shot in the leg. BJ would actually...
Man, this part makes me so like upset because you can kind of see Quando approaching. He doesn't, like, I've seen the video where they don't blur it quite so early. Like in this one, it blurred it a touch earlier, and it doesn't look like he's, you know, threatening or looking to do anything. It looked like they were gonna meet and like be respectful, and like, you know, you just do things that shouldn't do.
He later comment on the events of that night on social media, questioning if others would have had the courage to shoot someone with police all around them, and saying that the police should have shot him in the head as well. But while the cops are having a shootout with other O-Block members, Muwop and other O-Block associates would drag King Von's limp body to a waiting car, rushing him to hospital. But what's even more crazy is that Quando would also take a wounded Lil Tim to the very same hospital that King Von and his team were at, with Quando going live, showing him trying to help Tim into the hospital and get assistance from the staff.
Come on, he's shot. Come on, bit bro, you got thug. Come on, cuz, just keep breathing, bit bro. Just keep breathing, cuz.
Hold on, you can't move on that
You got it, my fault.
Yeah.
Man, he's shot, what you mean wrong side? Come on, man, please, come on, all right.
Okay.
Get him a wheelchair. Man, what you mean I gotta stay right here? Man, we need to get him. Man, we need to get him back there ASAP.
I'm calling that.
Man.
In front of the agent. Sit down so he won't fall out, okay?
Ma'am, how? He done been shot before.
Okay, sir.
Man, we need a wheelchair.
I just called. I can't do more than what I can do.
How we get there, man? We need help. Hold up, man, get him a wheelchair, man. What we doing? What y'all doing, cuz? Man, what you mean? Man, we can't take him around there. That man gonna die.
Close friend of Von and Dirk, THF Bezu, later posted saying that they saw Quando at the hospital and that they would have killed him there had he not started recording. Unfortunately, after arriving at the hospital, King Von was already in critical condition, and despite medical staff doing everything they could to try and save him, Von would ultimately be pronounced dead at 4:44 in the morning, with the media all around the world waking up to the news and reporting on his death.
According to GBI, rapper King Von and his group were at Opium nightclub before making their way here to Monaco Hookah Lounge, then to the parking lot where chaos ensued.
Believe it or not, this all playing out right in front of 2 Atlanta police officers.
One of them was actually inside his patrol car or next to his patrol car with his blue lights on.
APD responding, attempting to stop the shooting, but it was too late.
It hit like the one officer that did respond. He tried to protect himself and stop what was going on.
The investigation on this shootout will continue. No officers were injured during this incident. According to GBI, this is the 82nd officer involved.
Do you think that was a strategic move by Quando going live, knowing that the other team was there to prevent things from happening? Or do you think that was just them making something out of it and like really if you wanted to do something, it wouldn't matter if somebody's on live? I feel like it's more the second thing.
Involved shooting that they've been requested to investigate in 2020.
Lil Durk would seemingly find out about the shooting whilst being on IG Live and listening to his own revenge anthem Back in Blood, with the live ending abruptly when he realised that all of the comments were full of people asking about Von's shooting. After the news of Von's passing would be properly confirmed, Durk would post a tribute image of Von to his own Instagram, saying that he had lost his twin. Meanwhile, Asian Doll, who despite perhaps not being on the best of terms with Von at the time of his death, reacted to the news on Twitter, claiming that she wishes that she was dead. However, over in Baton Rouge, YoungBoy's brother Big B appeared to be in good spirits, as he would mock Von in an IG story, saying that it was funny that Von was the one who started the beef, dissing NBA YoungBoy. Now he's the one dead.
The joke's on you, you diss, now you getting rapped on. Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, one of YoungBoy's biggest ops, Lit Yoshi, who was still on probation in Florida at this point, would pay tributes to Von in a vlog.
Long live King Von, man. Old block boys.
Right. Von's friends and associates would naturally have a strong response to his death, seemingly taking it as a full declaration of war between them and the NBA camp. 600 Breezy claimed to be headed from Chicago to YoungBoy's hood at 150 miles an hour with the Steppers. BJ, who was still probably being treated for his leg shot wound, would also respond, saying that their ops are now cursed and that they don't stand a chance against O-Block. Meanwhile, YoungBoy affiliate Michi downplayed these declarations of war, saying that real gangsters only slide in silence.
Right there, all ain't doing no hell, scary, doing all that capping, get on that, all that, man, real speak. Hey, if you go do something, man, do something. You don't come to the city and annihilate you in the city, man. You was supposed to slab out that, man.
In a bittersweet turn of events, just a few days after Von's passing, his album Welcome to O-Block would become his highest charting project ever, debuting posthumously at the unlucky number 13 on Billboard, ironically one position above YoungBoy's top album, which at that point had already spent 8 weeks on the charts after going number 1 on debut. What should have been a major...
Okay, that was a little bit of a clickbait picture because it didn't debut higher than YoungBoy's debut. Like YoungBoy's had already been on the charts for 8 weeks by the time it fell to that number, so... Okay.
Career victory for Von was now unfortunately the final chapter in his short but impactful career as a gangster rapper. However, sadly for YoungBoy, this wouldn't be the end of the beef. In fact, it was only the beginning. Because despite Von being the one who provoked both YoungBoy first by taking intimate pictures with the mother of his child, and Quando by punching him for no reason outside the Monaco club, the unintended result was Von being shot dead in front of his entire crew. And unfortunately for YoungBoy, Von wasn't just any rapper. Von was, in his own words, the most dangerous killer to ever emerge from O-Block. And Von was backed up by an army of friends, gang members, and killers who seemingly wanted nothing more than to slide for Von and get revenge. And they would be targeting Quando Rondo and YoungBoy as well as all of their friends. But the biggest threat would come in the form of Von's closest friend and mentor, Lil Durk, who just so happened to be the biggest rapper coming out of Chicago in a decade, with seemingly the power of the music industry, millions of dollars, and all of Chicago's Black Disciple gang members behind him.
Wow. I think that's a good spot for us to stop, guys. Next chapter is called Blacklisted. Let me just switch this view back here. Blacklisted, Lil Durk and YoungBoy's beef. We're at about 4 hours. We got an hour and 52 minutes left in the documentary. This is long, but understandably, like, I mean, there's so much craziness. There's so much complexity. There's so many different people involved. Again, major props to Trap Lore Ross for putting in the effort that this video must have taken. Like, it is immense. I have goosebumps right now just about that last section. Like, obviously it's a section that we're probably more familiar with than the rest of the video, but just like reliving that again and seeing the interaction. I think the most upsetting part is that it didn't need to happen. I mean, listen, there's so much money out there. There's so many people that listen to music. You don't have to fight with each other for the same people, because those same people want to listen to more stuff. And then there's other people that you can listen to that might be different. Not that, like, you know, why are we arguing over, we're like fighting as though there's not enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. Like, this isn't necessary. Oh, it's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. Anyways, I mean, I'm learning a lot. Like, obviously that part I knew a lot about, but prior to the King Von section, I was learning a lot of stuff that I didn't know. I mean, that whole Miami shootout, I think I've like seen like some stuff on it, but not to that level, like that detailed level. So there's a lot there that I didn't know. Okay, that's it, guys. I know that was super long. I gotta go stretch my legs, use the bathroom. If you're still here with me, I really appreciate you spending your time with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.